What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up? What can I say? Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thus far, I have some cake, as you can see here. As you can see, I have some cake. My mother was baking some cake today, and I'm really hyped for today. I just can tell you that. Since it's the Trackmania Grand League final, and Pack is definitely a player that can make it. And I think we are gonna accompany Pack for a very, very long time. I mean, as we just can see the standings in the background. Of course, again, I'm just introducing myself again. I'm your host, Lucker's Turbo, casting for MnM Gaming, the Trackmania Grand League side for 3 seasons now. And again, it is Pack for the 2nd time in a row, qualifying to the playoffs. So that is a really, really huge accomplishment for him. And I think actually today he has a good chance of making it. Maybe not even into the next one, but also into the grand final or something like that. So that's like my prediction, but we're gonna find out more very soon. So I still have to add something here, but don't worry about that too much. So all good in the hood. So let me just do that here, and that should be fine. Okay. Let's do it like that. Okay, now we are good to go. So, I mean, those are the standings which we are going into the playoffs now. And, I mean, a surprise to me is that Pack didn't get first, of course, but he was struggling severely from point loss. And Jr. has just understood the system the best. I think only losing on like 40 points or something, so not really too much. He didn't really lose a lot of points by the looks of it. And then also Aurel and Afi, who played very, rather conservatively, I would say. They still played very well, but on the other hand, they didn't really collect too many points. And compared to what's Gwen, who was also severely struggling from point loss, as well as Bren and also Papu, who was sniping Spam and Massa away in that last step. So he was really doing it well there. So then Scrappy, P14, has qualified yesterday, so he will join us today as well. Scrappy will join us today as well. And who will join us as well in just 5 minutes is Eric. We're gonna have a little bit of a talk beforehand, since he's just gonna have a talk with all of us. But I mean, what can I expect actually from that? And what can you expect from that? I mean, I think we will have close matches. I'm gonna go into the explanation of the format later on, as well as the explanation of the actual, or the map preview, because maps are interesting. The maps are the same that we have seen yesterday for the cast. So yesterday we have also seen the OGL and the final chance, where the bottom 8 position could actually make it. And we've seen a final between Scrappy and Avon, both of the players that will be faced against each other next weekend in due time. They will play against each other. And so it's Scrappy who has actually made it. So, I mean, it's weird because Scrappy could actually be Trackmania Grand League champion and be eliminated out of this Trackmania Grand League season, which is a weird thing to think about. As I sip a little bit of my tea. And so what can I say? It will be a great evening, and of course a pretty long evening, but let me actually go ahead here a little bit into the schedule of that. But I need to open up the rulebook for that. So there you go, there you have the rulebook, and that's how it works. So let me just open it up here. You can also access that. So yesterday we had the final chance, where the top 8 of the players actually were doing it. And the form will be the same, described in the appendix as an additional rule. Delayed plus an additional rule. Okay, typo there. Delayed entrance. Okay, so delayed entrance is player will now enter the match different rounds based on their seeding. Meanwhile, that final 8 players who finish 9th and 10th will play the first round alone. The following round, 11th and 12th will make their entrance into the match until last player enters. So that means that Scrappy has a disadvantage of 2 maps because he was joining in through the final chance, which is, of course, it's a good thing, but still, I mean, it has a little bit of, it could already be one person through. But how it's going today is that we have the finals played on those 5 tracks that we've seen yesterday. I'm gonna present them to you. You all are familiar with them, so don't worry about that. But only 2 laps on those 5 maps will be played, and we have 3 rounds on each track. So that means a total of 15 rounds at max. So that makes also sense, because if 6 players have to go through, you have 5 people winning. No, you have 8 people winning all those rounds. So we see all maps. We could see all maps, let's say like that. So then we have from the final 9, we go down to the final 6. So 3 players will be eliminated. And then from the final 6, we will go to the final 4, which is played the same as this one. So you just have to win 2 rounds on those maps in order to make it happen. Then there is the final 4, and there it was a little bit interesting, because it's also the final mode, but with a best of 3. So that means that you have to win 2 maps. You have to win 2 maps in order to qualify. So let's say Peg, Carl Jr., Bren, and Afi are there. All of them have won a map, and then Peg wins a map all of a sudden. Then the finalist mode for the other people will reset before the next map. So Peg has won a map then. That is important to know, because this can get really interesting. So there we can see a maximum of 5 maps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 maps put on me. You can see 6 maps there by the looks of it. So there will be best of 3, 2 maps to qualify. So we have 4, yeah, 6 maps we can see there. So I'm not sure what map will that be as map number 6, but we're gonna check it out. In general, this rulebook is pretty messy, but I think you guys may have understood it. I'm just gonna go into the presentation afterwards as well, but I'm just interested to see how everything is going. Alright, so let's actually go here and have the standings opened up, because Eric will be ready very soon. I'm just gonna call him, even though I'm a little bit early, but yeah, whatever. I mean, what are your expectations here for this grand final tonight? Is it anything that will surprise us? Will it be Aurelio Afi who can make something happen? Or Scrappy who definitely has the pace? I would put him at the same level as Massa, but I'm not sure if he can make it really good, you know? Because he looked not that consistent, but definitely this format really favors him. So I guess that this will be a good advantage for a Scrappy, who of course qualified as one of the fast players. He has beaten Massa, he has beaten Evon, he has beaten Spam, Kappa, Ryoru, like all those players I've just mentioned, Tween as well, and then of course, yeah, Link as well. So you can see all those players who he has beaten. So that is an incredible performance just by Scrappy, to say the least. And with that, he can definitely make something happen, definitely. And yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for Eric. Let me just call him here, because it's now 30, so hopefully he's accepting, but he might do so. 18:30 it is. Everything is scheduled very good. Hopefully he is there. But the first round is starting at 19, and this will actually be the longest round there. Let me just wait. Marius will also join me, but he will join before. Wait. Okay, Eric didn't accept actually, so we have to wait for him. But he said that he might be home at 18:30, so he will just join into the call if he has the time. Okay, so Meister Kolo saying, I think Peck. Okay, we have Eric in here, but I'm just yeah, go ahead. Hello, Eric. Okay, Eric, I cannot hear you. Yeah, I think so as well, that this is a safe bet actually. So Eric just hello. Life is good, but you're a little bit quiet, but I'm just gonna upper your volume, so all good.
Okay.
Life is good.
You know. I'm shy.
Yeah, you're shy, I know that. So Eric is in here, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about what will happen today. So yesterday we had a busy day of Trackmania with GA, and also a player that still has qualified by the name of Scrappy. So we have 9 players today. What is your bet tonight?
Oh, you go straight for the bet. No foreplay. You just go straight into the bet.
Let's go for top 4 then.
I mean, I did some tweets now, and I said that Pac is the biggest favorite heading into this finals. He has the momentum. He was the strongest player, and it just sounds like Pack is really confident, and mental aspect is a really important factor once it comes down to a format like this, and once the level is as high as this, because if you start to doubt yourself, I think you're going to play worse and then essentially just go out. But Pack essentially just knows that he's fast enough to win this, and that might be the factor of winning it. Just thinking that you can win it might be the reason why you win it in the end, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, he has the confidence. And also when I had made those interviews with Pack, he was always like, so yeah, I was just cruising, you know, just risking on to the peak, the identity, you know, he just went for it because it's not going wrong for him. And definitely it is an important fact. And there's also a poll now in the chat, and I'm just gonna go for Pack as winning it instantly. 4 votes. And yeah, but who can be the runner-up? I mean, Scrappy was the runner-up last winter edition, and now he has qualified as well. So definitely this format favors him as well.
Scrappy, you mean?
Yeah, Scrappy. This format suits him well, yeah.
Yeah, I just posted, once again, plug my tweets. I just said that, yeah, if Scrappy wins this, that might be the most Scrappy story of all time. Like, playing bad in the season, getting a final chance, playing well in the final chance, winning it deservedly, then comes into the final, ends up winning it, and then maybe he loses the head-to-head and is relegated. I mean, that's Scrappy. That's like we both did a tier list, and we both sort of agree that if there is a player who is a hit or miss or make or break, it's Scrappy, and this is the perfect example of that. So if you say that Scrappy is going to once again be the runner-up in the winter season, I would believe it, but I would say Carl Jr. is the other favorite together with Pack. I would say those 2 are the favorites, and then the other 7s are like underdogs, contenders, outsiders, you name it.
Yeah, I think so as well, and that would be the most Scrappy story as well, because we could see a winner that goes home with 4,000 euro and can get demoted into OGL or just whatever, you know, and that's just crazy to think about. That just also shows how crazy the system is. But he definitely has a chance and can deny some points. For me, Gwen, I would have said that Gwen could maybe get that 3rd position. But yesterday I was watching a stream and he didn't really look too prepared. But it's Gwen, you know?
Yeah, it's a different Gwen compared to the Gwen we have seen the other years. Just by, once you talk with him, just by looking at him, it's like, he was on this rise for every event he played in 2020 or 2019. It was like, when it's just getting better and better, getting more and more motivated, getting more and more confident. But this Trackmania Grand League season has probably been the hardest event for him mentally and just by performing, because the first 3 steps we didn't see the Gwen that we normally see. We saw a Gwen that struggled to collect points. Of course, he didn't have enough time to train, but I think that affected him somewhat mentally, that, okay, I might not just smurf this. I might not just have an easy time. I also have a hard time to even make it. So even though we ended up 4th in the group stage, I still don't think he is as confident as he was last season when he won the group stage and then headed into the final, potentially as the biggest favorite then. We ended up placing 2nd and almost beat Carl Jr.
Yeah.
I would be more surprised if Gwen wins tonight than I would have been if he won the fall 2020, because it doesn't feel like Gwen has momentum. But like you said, it's Gwen. He has the pace, and the pace in this format is everything.
Yeah, pace is definitely everything. That's why it makes Gwen and especially Scrappy, who are very risky drivers, really favor. The format really favors them. I don't really know what to think about. Of course, Papu can also be very strong, but then there's also Afi, Aurel, and maybe Muda, who were more on the consistent side of the ending. They can still make something happen and capitalize from that, but I'm not sure if they can make it into the top 8. Not to be anything here, but they will have a hard time today, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a hard time to predict this format, even just by going yesterday to the bottom 8 and sort of predict who was going to make it. I said I predict Kappa to make it, and Kappa was almost out. One was qualifying to the top 6. So, I mean, to put a prediction down on this format is really hard. If we say Pack is going to make it, well, I would be really surprised if he doesn't make it into the top 6. But let's say if I pick Carl Jr. to make it, I wouldn't be that surprised if Carl Jr. doesn't even make it to the top 6, because this format is so stacked. If you essentially get a slow start, you're out.
Yeah.
You also need to have in the back of your head that, okay, I'm actually gonna play for 3 hours if I want to win this. So it's sort of a balancing point. How hard should you go out mentally? Because at the end, you might just be so drained that you don't have a single chance in a top 4 or top 2 situation.
Indeed, that's definitely the point. I mean, the point, or like, I'm not sure if the playoffs will change, but the aspect of the mental game with a point loss, that will definitely change. But there are so many like different adaptations throughout the whole event. I mean, with the map win, I think in the top 4, that's the most crucial part. Imagine you have to win 2 rounds on a map in order to take that map, and then you win 1 round and then you get denied like 1 or 2 times and you didn't get that map win. And I think that's where the mentality and the momentum game can really come in. So getting to the final will be really hard, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, somewhat. You saw yesterday, once again in the top 2 final, once Evan and Scrappy was heading head to head. They had map picks, but the map picks that they picked was essentially not the maps they won on. So even throughout this final, things will change. You might feel good on one map in the top 8, and you might feel bad once it's top 4. So it's curious how much the mental game has to say, and how much momentum has to say in a Trackmania tournament, because I think it's underestimated how important a momentum is. And you have, really once again, the momentum-based player like Scrappy, Gwen. I will even call Mudda a momentum-based player, but we haven't seen much of Mudda because it's his first season, first playoff. But he's known to be fast, and once again, this format is all about being fast. So, if I was asked to do one sort of ballsy prediction, I would say Mudda is going to win this.
Okay, and I mean, if Mudda is going to go into the final, he's also qualifying to the Trackmania World Cup. Same goes with Bren, I think. So they can still make it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then Spam's spot is on stake. I think Spam is currently 8th, if I recall correctly. And if
Massa is 8th, and Spam is 7th, yeah. But both can essentially go out if, like, the Mudda Brent situation happened. But let's see.
Yeah, let's see. So, I mean, thank you so much for the insight. It will definitely be an interesting evening and a long evening. So I hope that you will enjoy it. And it's, again, hard to find the proper streamer. But there are, of course, other streamers. There is the official Trackmania cast. And I think I'm the only English cast that is there.
Yannick is also casting in English, but...
True.
But I mean, the people who are watching the channel now, they should be happy because the whole season has been like a birthday party for you guys. Pack has been the best player. Pack has been performing the best. And like we say, both of us, I think both, if we were asked to pick one winner tonight, we'll both pick Pack. So the people who have you as the caster and then has Pack as a player, well, I mean, it's somewhat sad to say, but you can only be disappointed because Pack should win this, right?
Yeah, Pack should win this, indeed. But everything can happen. Everyone can win. Everyone has the same things to go into. But I mean, Scrappy is starting 2 maps late on that first one, but still 6 people are going through. So if he has just won the momentum again, then he can make it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. I think the final is Pack versus Carl Jr. But Eric, enjoy your evening of Trackmania. Have a good time, and thank you so much.
Good luck with the guys, man. See ya.
Yeah, see ya. So that was a cool story, or a cool talk with Eric there. So Eric Holdal, the reporter of Trackmania, and definitely one of my also friends. I've met him a lot in real life already, in Prague, also in Strasbourg. He's a very good guy and definitely an important person for Trackmania. So nice to have a little bit of a talk with him, because I was also casting Trackmania Grand League Season 2 with him, I think in Step 1 and 2. So that was also very cool. But yeah, let's actually go back here into the standings. We have mentioned a lot of things beforehand. I mean, that Scrappy is there. It's do or die for him. But it will be very, very messy here, to say the least, because 3 players will be eliminated, and we have 9 people at the beginning, or let's say 8, before Scrappy is joining in, that are batting it out here for the top 6, and everyone is just getting a win eventually. I mean, if you remember last time where Peck was in the playoffs, he just won the first 2 rounds and then he could chill for, I think, 1.5 hours. So that was the easiest task for Peck to do, but it can go either way. Peck could also be eliminated in the first round, as well as Carl Jr., as well as someone like Bren, who's really fast. You know, everything can happen in Trackmania. We have seen that yesterday in that clip where everyone died. It's not over till it's over, and I think that's a valid chance. As the vote is going to an end, everyone is going for Peck. That, I think, is a good idea as well. But yeah, my bets here, or my prediction, is actually... Yeah, it's boring, I know. It's a boring prediction, guys. I'm sorry. It's super boring. Actually, you know, I put so much faith into Scrappy in this Trackmania Grand League season. I put so much faith in him. So much faith I put in Scrappy. And I think that he can get himself into the top 4. I think Scrappy will play with Gwen, Carl Jr. and Peck for that entry into the final. But I think Scrappy's not gonna make it by a hair. Something like that. I don't know. But I think that Gwen is getting 3rd, and then Scrappy's gonna get 4th. But we can be proven wrong. There's also Muda playing. There's so many good players playing, as you can see here. We have so many good players here by the name of Carl Jr., Peck, of course. Aurel also was 3rd, not to be underestimated. Very fast player, but more on the consistent side of the ending. Then, of course, Gwen, hit or miss. We have seen it yesterday. And then there's Afi Muda. Afi, for me, he can make it, but he is also not the fastest, also more of the consistent driver. Then Brennan Papu, also very fast. I mean, Papu made it into the playoffs. That's so sick. His performance there. And then, of course, Scrappy, who was on P14, but he should not be underestimated. He shouldn't be underestimated. That is definitely for sure. So that's for the presentation here, for the standings. Here again, there are my predictions, so nothing too fancy. But I guess Peck will take it today. Carl Jr. is getting 2nd because Carl Jr. is just Carl Jr. And yeah, let's actually go ahead again into the rulebook, because I think we have to go over the explanation again. So there we go. We have a cash prize of 7,500 euro. So for Trackmania circumstances, it's definitely not that little. So cool to see that. For first position, you get 4,000, second 2,000, then 1,000 and 500 for 4th. So if you make it into the final 4, you have already 500 euro for sure. And then of course there was the money from the actual league ranking, so that also goes in. So Peck has claimed himself, I think, 2,500 euro, if I recall it correctly, something like that, but a ridiculous amount, or 2,800, something like that. At least a lot of money he has gained him, and he can make it happen today again. So yeah, again, the format, final chance was yesterday, and we have the final with the final 9 will be played, as you can see here. Final 9 will be played. Scrappy will start at map 3, and only 6 players will make it. So final mode works like that. We have all those 5 tracks that will be played with 2 laps, then 3 rounds on each track, and the players who were in 4th, so the 4th player, so at this part it was, as you can see, Gwen can pick the first map, then it is Aurel who can pick the second map, then Peck can pick map number 3, so the map that Scrappy is joining in, and Carl Jr. is picking map number 4. The 5th map is the map that is left. And yeah, then only 6 people go through. So again, so 3rd from final 8 is picking map 1, 2 and 3, and map 4 is randomized, so 1 map is out. And then final 4 is again this one here with the pick system, but final 4 is working a little bit differently. Final 4 is working differently because there's a map best of 3 going on, where you need 2 maps to win. And so it's like that. You just play until a player has 2 rounds on a map, and then you get 1 point to your name. So that's how it goes. And then final is a best of 5 on those maps. So you need 3 maps to win, and you need 4 rounds on those maps to win. And there's also this win by KO if a player is at least 2 seconds away for 3 consecutive CPs, so that they don't have to drive until the ending. And yeah, I made my bet today. My god, what are those? What are those polls, guys? I always make my bets. Of course, it's a yes. It's the easiest yes of my life. So yeah, I mean, those are the rules. And again, I want to say thank you to MnM Gaming. I mean, this is kind of where my casting career started. At MnM Gaming, picking me as a caster, which I'm really happy about. And now we're here again, casting the finals. And I've also evolved a lot as a caster and also as a speaker throughout the last year. I mean, I got nominated for Caster of the Year, which is a huge honor for me. So thank you so much for trusting in me and also having a good cooperation. So I can just say thank you. MnM Gaming is a good team, regardless if you consider the organizers behind that, the players, the staff, everyone in this team is just so wholesome, and it's just a nice and friendly community. So I can just tell you that. And I mean, this just shows also, like, with players like Razor, for example. Razor, a top player for MnM Gaming. And it's so cool that they're still holding to that Trackmania theme and have, like, one of the best players in there. So I can just say thank you to MnM Gaming for picking me the 3rd season in a row. Maybe the 4th one as well. I think so, actually. I think so. I'm really confident for that. But before we gonna declare that, we're gonna jump into the maps, because we have 5 maps that will be played, and I have a map preview for you. 19 is the start, yeah. So let's just watch the maps here, because the map preview is a little bit longer and I can eat my cake in between. Wait, why are there so many no votes? Are you joking me, guys? Of course I made my bet. my god. Come on, guys. Man. So those were the maps. Actually, I used that also to take a little bit of a break because, guys, the final will take so long today. I think we will be here for 4 hours. So, guys, make sure to grab yourself some beverages, some snacks, whatever, some food and drink. Just get what you like, even if it's a cup of water or something, because this will definitely be a good match. As we have the map order that has already been picked. We have Slalom as the first map picked by Gwen. Then Frozen Fridges as the second map. Reversing picked by Pack as map number 3. Then a Bicycle, a Baikal Jr. and Arctic Split is the last map. So we already have the map order. And we're gonna start in due time in 4 minutes, kind of, as the server has been restarted. So let me actually go ahead and join on the server. So welcome in, everyone. Glad that all of you are here. And well, actually, that's not what I wanted to do, but yeah, I wanted to do that. Whatever. So you've seen the stream there, and I thought you could have seen the game, but that certainly wasn't the case. But welcome, everyone, and let's go ahead and yeah, actually go into the game here because we are on the server. And let me actually check if everything is working out. It might. Yeah, looking good. So we also have the chat here. A little bit cropped by the looks of it. So I have to change that as well. Damn it, man. I'm not prepared. Edit transformation. So bottom is done. 120. Yeah, that should be good. Close. Boom. So we have the chat there. Maybe we should pick it, should take it somewhere else. But let's just do it a little bit smaller. And here, I think there it's good. I wish I also had a burger, but I had cake because my mother was baking cake as she knows that Pack is gonna win today. So I really have to say my mother is really supportive throughout the last couple of weeks on the weekend, because she just sees that I'm casting, and she really is supporting me in that. So I'm really appreciating that. She's cooking, you know, throughout the weekend, and that's really, really cool. And I just have to thank my mother for that she sometimes just gives me a cup of tea, you know, just those small gestures. It's really good. But Marius is here, so I'm gonna call Marius here, and we have a good cast. So I will call him, and let's actually go for the in-game OST. So Marius, I'm calling you.
Hello.
Hello, Marius. Nice that you're here again. How are you doing, man? Hello?
I'm very excited now for this final.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Scrappy is the last player who has qualified. And I was talking with Eric about that. It will be a sick match. I mean, the first phase will take very long. The longest, of course. And maybe the final as well. But yeah, everyone can make it there. We have a top 6 that are going through. Scrappy starting late. So do you think that we're gonna see any surprise? Of course, it's hard to predict, but yeah, it will be so. It's such a sick match, I can tell you that.
I guess mostly the fastest players are in this kind of format also the favorites to go through. So we have, of course, with Afi and Aurel, 2 players that mainly reached these playoffs due to their consistency and their performance on map 5 and 6 always. But they never really got map wins or many podiums. So I have the feeling for them it could actually get close already in the first stage, because they miss a bit of pace to maybe win these rounds.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And for me, a player that is always fast, or who used also be fast, is Papu. Papu was in the, I think in the Final 4 in the last playoffs, and he was playing very good there. And I think we have a lot of those players with Papu, Bren as well, who is really fast, and yeah, Muda maybe as well, or just Pack, Call Jr., Gwen, those players where Afi really, and also other people have a really hard chance. But especially Aurel and Afi, who have gotten themselves a top 4 and top 3 position, will have, yeah, not the easiest time here in this first round. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah, I think the same. But we will see. I mean, they were always there on map 5 and 6, and of course it's also a lot about the mentality in this format. And they had the mentality, they scored these points, and when it mattered, and stole the points also the other players who lost them on the last map, for example.
Yeah, but now we have a different format.
Yeah, it's of course something different now, but they are very strong in the mentality, and that can also be very good, especially in this long evening. Might also get very tiring for the players to the later stages.
Yeah, definitely.
Focusing for so many hours.
Definitely. I think you are on the server, right? You have.
I am there, yes.
Okay, okay, good. So we are still missing on Scrappy, but maybe Scrappy will join in later because, well, actually not because he should be on the server when the match starts, since he is playing just 2 maps later. But of course, it can always occur a join lag or something like that. But the map order has already been picked. So player number 4 in the group stage. So in the regular season was Gwen. He could have picked the first map. The first map is Slalom. Second one is Frozen Fridges, picked by Aurel. Then Reversing was picked by Pack, where Scrappy's gonna join in. And then Bicycle by Call Jr. And Arctic Split is the last map that no one picked. So anything...
Right.
I mean, especially map number 3 here, with Scrappy joining in for Pack, it can be really scary with that backwards ending, right?
For sure, because as we've seen already in the OGL, in the last lap, you can risk it and finish backwards. But we have seen lots of mistakes there as well. And I mean, the drivers will have trained that, of course, but not everyone seems to be very comfortable with this line, because one slight drift and you're directly off and lose the whole chance for this round. But people have to go for it because it's just 2 laps,
Exactly.
and the gaps will be closed and you can win like half a second there. So as long as you're within half a second, you can definitely catch someone, overtake someone who is driving the normal safe approach with the turnaround. But yeah, overall I think for Pack, this is a good map pack, because like here also Slalom was very strong in the steps, and many of these maps actually suit him pretty well. So
Exactly.
I really look forward.
He was also pointing that one out when we had the interview with Pack after the matches. That I think after step 6 that he said that this map pack suits him in particular very good. So I'm looking really forward to see what Pack is doing here. He can probably redeem himself, as the first map will be Slalom. So it will be this map, and I mean, who won all 3 maps here? It was Pack. Was Pack winning all 3 rounds, right? Or was it on the... No, it was on this one, right? He won all...
Yeah, it was here.
Yeah.
So he is the main favorite, and maybe he can close it out very quickly. And I think last year that also was the case in one round for Pack, the playoffs, that he was through very early on and then had a long break. Not completely sure, it's just slightly in my memory. So are we starting?
Yeah, we are starting. And also Baby Hulk, thanks for supporting MnM Gaming. Thanks for your Prime sub. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And yeah, we're gonna start here actually. So the format again, it's the final mode. So that means we have 2 lappers. And those 2 lappers, only the first position matters, yeah? Only the first position matters. I'm just gonna go for the first round here to see who's gonna take it. You can go for the second one, but actually we're skipping here. So not sure what's going on, but maybe there were some join lags and now we are starting. So no idea, but it looks that we are live now. So yeah, just a victory counts, and it was Pack who was extremely fast on this track. But maybe people have practiced this track, as we also see Gwen in the lead here together with Papu and then Afi. Well, let's go a little bit further back. Let's go with Bren here, who's on 8th position. So who is wondering why Scrappy is not playing? Scrappy will join in later because he was qualifying through the last chance, and he will just join on map number 3. So, pretty close fight. No one has really made a mistake thus far. Gwen is, however, leading ahead of Papu. So, players that I have seen being fast, we have pointed that out beforehand. But Gwen has a huge lead here. But look at Pack. Look at Pack's speed here. Going into that second position. Also goes for that outside approach. Has a little bit more speed here. Going to that identity. 1400ths of a second between Gwen and Pack. Pack with a beautiful identity. Look at that from P2 to P1. But then there's also Aurel behind him by the looks of it. So a close fight here going to that last lap. And this could also already be the first point for Pack and the finalist mode.
Exactly, a beautiful first lap here for Pack. But he has one contender here with Aurel 900s behind him, and then we have also Papu with 2400s behind the leader Pack. After that we have some gap, so the players from Mother downwards to 8th place currently looking not to score their first round win. We have now Papu attacking Aurel, also overtaking him here. Now going through the dirt corner. Slalom here. Nobody crashes. Pack maintains his lead over Papu with around 3/10. The identity in the end will decide it. No mistakes in the slalom either. Papu slightly touches. Oh, there he makes a big mistake. So now the gap for Pack is even bigger to Aurel, 4/10. One more identity and it would be the first round. Aurel does fail it and Pack only has to finish it, and Pack will be the winner here in this round. It gets the first point.
Wow, Muda with the best lap though, but it doesn't really matter, but Pack is taking it. Muda, however, shows that he has the pace, but guys, I mean, it's Pack. He's undefeated on this map thus far. He takes the first point, is finalist, but the question, Marius, is he taking the second one as well? Let's go ahead and start the cast here.
Yeah, let's see. If he also wins this round, then he's already through and past the final 9, will qualify for the final 6. It can be, of course, an advantage that you don't play too much, but of course also he will go into the next match maybe with a bit cold fingers. But anyway, I mean, you wanna be through because this is a very packed field here. And when you have your chance, then you wanna grab it, of course. And this is one of the best chances for Pack on this map. We saw that he's really strong here. The first mistake has been done by, who was it? We see in the next checkpoint. Was it Mother? Yeah, Mother with over 3 seconds. The other players are still close together. One driver was going very wide on the grass, falling a bit behind, but now the identity. So Pack, can he get it again like that? Oh, nicely executed. Beautiful. But this time, Carl Juniors and Bren are still both ahead of him. So Pack currently on 3rd place, but still with a chance for victory.
Yeah, and great entry there into the dirt here, coming closer towards Carl Jr. and Bren. And I smell a deja vu. I smell a deja vu to the second playoff. Maybe you remembered in the second season, Pack was just winning the first 2 rounds, and currently it's looking very good for him. And you were mentioning it. I mean, yesterday, the final from the OGL, it was so much better for Granadi in particular that he was warmed up. But look at this overtake or this attempt. Carl Jr. with more exit speed though, but still Pack is in the race. It's very, very close between them. 500ths of a second between both Pack and Carl Jr. Pack is going for that overtake. Has a little bit of a wrong angle there and not the best amount of speed. But now let's take a look. How much is Pack risking it? Of course, both players have nothing to lose here, but Pack can already be through. I'm gonna go with Pack here and see if he is making that identity. Let's take a look here. This identity is very nicely done by Pack. He has maybe more speed than Carl Jr. Can he take it? But I think Carl Jr. has it. Carl Jr. has it here. Oh, it's so close. And no, Pack was risking it there. Nice stylish finish though. Only 1 second behind. But Carl Jr. takes his first point and Pack is not winning it here. So Pack didn't use his first finals attempt, to say the least. And it's Carl Jr. kind of denying him. But a great risk there from Pack, to say the least.
Exactly, we saw also Papu with the fastest lap time. He really caught up to Carl Jr. and Pack, and in the end it was just 1400s missing for him.
Yeah.
So he also has the pace.
Yeah, and especially this map it's crazy because this identity you can gain so much time because it's also ice, but players really have pushed it here to the absolute maximum, I think so. But let's take a look here. Who made that first small mistake? It's Bren here who was falling a little bit behind. So Bren on P8 at the moment. Papu also not with the best line there by the looks of it, but actually goes up into the lead. I thought he was not having the best speed, but Papu again proving me wrong on dirt, even though I'm not a bad dirt player myself. But Papu is doing that one really good. Let's take a look. Who's in the lead? It's Carl Jr. versus Pack here. 500s between them. And yeah, first identity is coming up now. Who's gonna remain in first? It is Carl Jr. with a good identity, but Pack with more exit speed had to steer a little bit more there, but still has way more speed on that downhill. Don't hit the flag there. Oh, that was so close from Pack to hit it there, but that wasn't the case. 700s for Pack to work with here in that last lap, but Carl Jr. is in a hot pursuit here.
Yeah, the 2 finalists now already pretty far ahead of the rest of the field, so the chance is quite high that one of these players is already going through into the next round. Pack versus Carl Jr. The typical fight here. Will this be also the final today? The final 2? We will see. Of course, a lot of difficult matches to pass also for those 2, but they already show here in this very first map that they wanna win today, that they wanna crown themselves as the champion. And yeah, Pack survives this nicely and he improves his lead like a little bit to Carl Jr. now even further because Carl Jr. did not have the best entrance here onto the grass section, and Pack now with almost 3/10 of a lead now. This ice slide, and it looks very good. If he just survives this ending, then Pack is already through. Only has to avoid hitting these flags. He does, and he wins with a time of 2:06.66. Again, we see Papu with the fastest lap time, the 1:01.5. But Pack is the first one to go through. And Carl Jr., I mean, also has already won a round. I remember last season, he took very long in the first stage of the playoffs to finally win rounds. He was actually almost going out, and in the end, he won it.
Yeah, in the end, he won it. So that's the charm. But Pack makes it on the first map again. So same as the last year. Last year he was 3rd, 4th. Together with Papu, but that was also a crazy round. Maybe you remember it when Papu sniped Pack with a crazy identity on halfpipe. But we have the next map, Frozen Fridges. Still no Scrappy. Pack is through. He can just chill. I think he already left the server, or he can leave the server. But we have one warm-up here before we're gonna go live. Only with 7 players playing. Only the top 6 is going through though, with Scrappy joining on the next map. So yeah, definitely a nice performance from Pack, to say the least. But also from Carl Jr., who played very, very good, but had to settle down there. At least he was taking 1 round from Pack away. But let's go ahead here into the first round and see who's gonna make it, who's gonna take his first point, or maybe even join Pack on the winning booth, let's say like that. As we see Afi, who I didn't really see too much in on that prime map, leading the round, as well as Muda and Bren. So this map can be something different. Carl Jr. currently 0.1 behind, and we see 1 mistake. I think that was Aurel. No, actually Papu makes that mistake. So Papu is dead. He's out on that round, and he won't have a saying. But he's not DNFing. We have seen yesterday that DNFing is not good. Maybe you've seen that clip as well, Marius.
Yeah.
That was absolutely crazy. So at the Gamers Assembly, we had a cool situation. But yeah, I mean, you all probably watched it. But let's focus on this identity here, as Carl Jr. is currently leading. And then we have Bren also doing it very nicely. Gets himself a little bit more speed. No, never mind. Actually, Carl Jr. has gotten a little bit better. And Carl Jr. goes into the lead here, into the second lap.
Now we have basically 3 players fighting for the victory. I mean, Gwen is already a bit behind, but I think he still has a chance to make it through. But Mala is catching up here to Carl Jr., trying to avoid that Carl Jr. also gets through. For Scrappy, of course, it would be the perfect situation with Pack and Carl Jr. already the 2 strongest opponents are through and nobody else won a round. That would be the best case for Scrappy, so he will probably cheer for Carl Jr. And currently in this 3rd section, Carl Jr. got a really good and extended his lead. We see a different approach here from Mada, but it was not really paying off. Gwen is also catching up to him, and he crashes. So Gwen, the only one close to Carl Jr., close to denying him. He actually caught up quite a lot and risks completely this DP line, but he did not really gain time on Carl Jr., who of course had more exit speed. So only 1 more turnaround here on the ice. Looks quite close, but Carl Jr. stays in front. Only 1 more jump to clear, and then there is also the second driver already through. Wow, what a performance by Pack and Carl Jr. once again.
Yeah, so clean sweep from them, and that's why they were in the top 1 and 2 for me. Gwen had stood, or was making something happening there, or tried to do something, but that wasn't not the case here for him to win this round. So Gwen still yet to get their first points, as well as all the other 6 remaining players. Pack and Carl Jr. again just showing why they were 1st and 2nd.
So next round starting. No mistakes so far. We have in the back currently Gwen. Already almost 3/10 behind the leader, who's Afi, but Afi makes the mistake. Goes too far left, touches. He wanted to get the best possible angle for the right drift, but was too much left, untouched. Gwen with a very beautiful corner, like he was last and now he's almost 1st. He caught up to Brandon Papu here, and there he touches though. Too much exit speed and he gets overtaken, but 1 play doesn't even make the identity, so Gwen is out of this round. And yeah, it looks to be a 1v1 in front. Aurel is already over half a second behind, so Bren versus Papu, one of the Frenchmen, with a chance of a round victory this time. They are basically side by side, completely even. The second lap will decide the battle.
Yeah, very close round indeed, as Bren has the upper hand just for that moment, but that can also change in that 3rd section, which is of course Papu's origin, but of course it's only a very, very small turn. So, of course, nothing too much has happened, but Bren with a mistake there. And also Papu. Oh my, you got to be joking me. You've got to be joking me. Is that Gamers Assembly again, or what is happening? Aurel all of a sudden in the lead because of a double mistake from both the leaders, from Bren and Papu. Both have made a mistake, and now it's Aurel leading. The gaming privé player is leading, and he will be certainly very happy about that, because that wasn't the best round for him. He was so far behind, but now Aurel is about to win this. So, guys, that's why you never, ever DNF. Again, 2 prime examples in the last 24 hours or like last 30 hours. And Aurel is about to win this one. He has 0.5 to work with. Muda is so far away here, but has more speed. What is Aurel doing? No way. Aurel is throwing it away by the looks of it. Is Muda having more speed? Yes, he has. Is it enough for Muda to take it home? This is so close, and Muda is taking it. Oh my god. Muda has gotten it here. What?
That must be one of the worst feelings now for Aurel. He had it in the back, and then he actually started choking in the second part of the identity. He was drifting out, maybe touch or slightly avoided the touch, but lost a lot of speed, and then he loses it by 1,000, or we don't really know exactly how many thousands that were, but definitely not much. That was very unlucky in the end for him, but it was his own mistake. So yeah, I mean, he was taking advantage already from the early mistake there. From Papu and Bran. That would have been a typical Aurel round here to win. But he couldn't clear it, and now Mada has the finalist status and has the chance to also close it out. I mean, he has a great start here with this lap.
Yeah, definitely a great start for Muda here. And this could be the third player in a row that wins, and that is finals and then wins without the others having any other point. And bear in mind, it is Scrappy coming up into this match after this one. But this round is definitely a little bit closer. Only Papu has fallen behind, who actually DNF'd here. And also Bren. So we have a 4-way fight between Muda, Aurel, and Afi, as well as Gwen, who's currently leading, but only by a small hair. So that is actually a close round here to conclude this map, Frozen Fridges, the map that was picked by actually Aurel. So Aurel picked that map and he got sniped by Muda like that. So that must really, really hurt for Aurel. But currently, he is in that battle with Gwen, who actually lost his point, who didn't get a point yet. So let's take a look here, Marius. Who's gonna take it?
Yeah, Gwen leading here in front of Mada. So Gwen the only one currently to deny Mada the victory. We have already 2 DNFs. The other 4 players were quite close together. Just in that moment, Aurel makes the mistake. We have Afi still in close, and he also overtook Mata, so it does not look too great for Mata to close it out now. Gwen now with a situation to just get through here, through the identity. Afi, had also done a mistake there at the entrance into the identity section, and Mata, of course, will risk it now. He's actually catching up a bit to Gwen, but it's only one more turnaround. Mata going very, very short and low, but of course Gwen gets more exit speed, and if he does not fail here, he will keep the lead, and he does so. With a 2:12.85, I forgot to see it previous winner times. I think in the first one that Katsune was probably a bit faster. But yeah, great stuff from Gwen, and now he also gets his first point.
But again, so close between Gwen and Muda there in the ending. Almost done it and almost thrown it away, but that wasn't the case. So it's still double finalists now, and now Scrappy will join in. And I'm interested to see how Scrappy will perform on the map that was picked by Pack. But of course, Pack is already chilling and has already left the server. So the map is called Reversing. And it's definitely a map that is good for Scrappy. It's definitely a map for him because this ending really suits him well. Maybe we want to introduce this identity to the viewers because it's definitely not something that the Trackmania players are familiar with, Marius.
Yeah, backwards driving is not that known yet, but it's actually a pretty cool style as well, because similar to full speed, you can speed slide there. But yeah, the speed slides are not too important on this track here, in this identity. There is one speed slide, but most importantly is the entrance into the backwards, which is done with a quarter pipe jump, and then also the exit. And the exit is now different in the 2 laps, because in the second lap you just want to finish, so you just keep driving backwards, while in the first lap you want to turn your car around and switching from backwards to forwards again. And yeah, the entrance and exit of this part, that is where we've usually seen the most mistakes. The backwards part itself is not too difficult.
Yeah, but especially the landing to go into the backwards gear, you want to land a little bit like with your car not being straight. So it's an interesting identity that is really hard. I can tell you that it's not easy to do it perfectly. especially this turnaround on the ice. You can easily mess that up by either sliding out or just missing the finish because your tires are still on an icy condition. So let's take a look here onto the first round we go. Of course, we still have 2 laps here. We have 2 finalists, and now Scrappy joining in. And look who's in first right now, batting out with Bren and Papu by the looks of it. Oh no, that is Gwen there. So too bad that we cannot see the name text when players are nearby. But I think that is just how it is. But Scrappy with his first round, so he's warmed up. And maybe he can take that one home, going so close there to the wall. But he's definitely a player that is also more on the risky side. And now you can see it. Scrappy is not jumping fully straight. He's going a little bit tilted to get into the backwards gear. And Gwen is currently leading. Let's see the turnaround here from the top 3. Gwen not with the best amount of speed. Scrappy is doing it really good, as well as Bren. Look at the speed from Scrappy, and Scrappy is leading going into that second lap. And maybe he can take his first point in the first round he's playing.
He, of course, has the little advantage that he played these maps already yesterday in the same format. And he was the one from the 8 drivers that drove yesterday in the final chance. He was the one that succeeded in the end in this format. So he seems to be also good with that. And he was also yesterday sometimes very strong in clearing it very early. And yeah, we definitely see that he's warmed up here. And he knows what he does. And he has the chance here to clear his first point. Behind him, the 2 finalists. So if Scrappy does mess up or does not win, then Gwen or Mada would be with the biggest chance here to close it out. Now the jump into the identity. And we see that Scrappy gets it better, but of course it's still quite close. So the ending will decide, the backwards will decide. Can Scrappy make it? He stays backwards, no slides. He's a bit off.
Oh no!
Does he make it? He does not make it.
Scrappy doesn't make it. He had so much speed, and now Muda is actually through. But Scrappy dropping out here. It was also Gwen, not with a very wonky section. Scrappy had so much speed there going into that downhill after the booster. And the reason why you have to go backwards there is also because it's just a very, very hard and sharp turn coming up after that. But also your car, while being backwards, is not really affected too much, or not at all sometimes, I have the feeling, by the reverse booster. So that's why this identity is working out that well. And also the turnaround. So cool identity, very innovative. But of course, with that finish there, we could have seen Scrappy making that mistake. But that's the charm, as we already see Bren with a mistake. So Bren is dead. He's still playing though, so he wants to practice it, which is a smart decision. I would also do that instead of DNFing. And yeah, we have one finalist here left, which is Gwen. Currently not the best start, but look who's there again. It's Scrappy, but falling a bit behind. And also Afi, the BDS player, is doing a fantastic job here in that first lap. So Afi certainly not doing too bad here. But look at the speed here. Gwen with airtime, and that was not the thing you wanted to do. But still, he's in the race, didn't lose too much. But look at the turnaround from the players. Aurel, Afi, and Scrappy are in the top 3, and it's a neck-and-neck battle here. 300ths of a second between the Lazarus, the Gaming Privé, and the BDS player.
Yeah, this is the battle that we look out for. Gwen is now currently already half a second behind, and also in the fight with Papu. And yeah, now we see Scrappy again in the lead. Of course, it plays with your nerves when you have already had this opportunity to get your victory, and then you threw it away in the last identity. This will rise the pressure for Scrappy now in this round, where he again goes into the identity eventually as first place. It depends on the next corner. And he gets a very beautiful, gets a much better exit than Aurel, actually crashes, and now there's only Afi behind, but he's too close for Scrappy, so Scrappy can't save at the end. He can't save it. Also, Gwen and Papu is still only half a second, so Scrappy has to go for the backwards. Afi will of course also do it. Oh, Afi! It's the same time, but Scrappy gets it with
what?
2:05.88. Oh, that was so tight. That looked like the same time, or really close. Wow. But what a line by Afi that he kept his grip there. That looked very controllable as well if he manages to do that every time.
What was that, Marius?
But it wasn't faster. That is interesting. He did not completely overtake Scrappy.
But he caught up, but... Oh, that was so risky. But Scrappy gets his first point, well deserved, but also the risky from Afi. He has to go for it. He still has no point. You have nothing to lose there. And now Scrappy is also having the red name attached to himself. So Scrappy is looking very strong here to take that one. Maybe here even again, also with the best start here, Marius.
Yeah, I mean, this is maybe his best opportunity now. He seems really warmed up on this track and feels fit. Like, he definitely has the chance to close it out here. And sometimes, yeah, players have their favorite maps. There might be other maps where there is another player dominating and you can't get your point. So we have already some mistakes. Aurel with a mistake. Afi is also quite far behind already. So we have 4 players in the front. They are very close together still. They are fighting it out now. Bren was actually not doing too well so far in this final, but of course it only needs 2 rounds in the end, and he has a very beautiful executed turnaround. Caught up a bit, but then got some airtime at the multi-lap section. Currently on 3rd place, but yeah, Scrappy's still leading.
Yeah, Scrappy is leading indeed, and both finalists are leading at the moment, so we could see the 4th winner here, and then it's getting thinner and thinner. Then only 2 more spots are remaining if Scrappy or Gwen will take it here, and currently it's looking very good unless they will of course make a mistake, but also the ending can decide a lot here. Bren is only 900s away, but didn't get the best amount of speed here in this section, so he will fall a little bit behind and gets attacked by none other than Papu, the Gamers Origin player. But Scrappy and Gwen here neck and neck, but Gwen with a mistake there. Gwen touching, and now it is Scrappy left alone, and Papu and Bren's task to deny Scrappy the victory. Let's see this last identity. Scrappy not with the best approach there into this section, so Papu is taking that lead, but Scrappy has nothing to lose. He can't fully risk it. Papu just has to survive. It goes so far there to the right, but Papu takes it there, and it is Scrappy overtaking Bren there in the ending who has touched. But Papu with his point, and now we have 3 finalists, and it gets spicier and spicier. Marius going to the next map, which will be the pick by Carl Jr., which is Bicycle.
Yeah, 3 finalists and 3 other players not finalists yet. And yeah, next map coming up. We have seen a lot of close battles on the upcoming track during the steps. It was mainly like 8th place or 9th place was usually only like 1 or 2 seconds behind after 6 laps. And now, of course, we only drive 2 laps. But of course, players go for more risk because only the first place is what matters in the end. So they have to nail everything. So there might be, of course, mistakes as you have to get the first place, have to risk it for it. But yeah, we can expect still very close battles, especially also the OGL. We have seen that players were close together up until the finish, or into the last identity.
Yeah, this map is really close indeed, and we've seen different approaches here as well. And someone is asking any overview how final works. So yeah, we're gonna play till the top 6 here. So you need to win 2 rounds, and then after that we play for the top 4, and then for the top 2. So that's how it goes. But we're gonna go into the explanation after that because some adjustments are there in those respective formats. But let's go here into the first round. And as you mentioned, I think this track will be very, very a close fight, a close match. And we have 3 finalists, so Aurel, Bren, and Afi yet to win a round. And Afi already a little bit further behind. I mean, only make it point 18, but that's still concerning the length of this format. A little bit too much, or a little bit, a lot, let's say like that. Every 100 really matters on this track more than on the other ones where you really had to just risk the ending. And with that Afi line on that last map, for example, you can just make it happen, you know, you can just make it happen as Bren makes that first major mistake, so he is not able to make something. He's 1.5 seconds behind, and Papu is leading. Papu, who won the prior round, he can already close it out here maybe. So the gaming privé player approaching the identity first, hand in hand with Aurel. Different approaches. Gwen goes so far outside there, but was able to survive, accumulating a lot of speed. But Papu is probably leading here together with Aurel going into that last lap.
Yeah, so many different approaches in the identity section. We also saw Grenady yesterday, for example. He went completely straight, and it also worked out. It was basically the same pace, but looked a bit more safe. We see Afi now with a crash. So that means that 2 players are down that are not finalists yet. So Aurel is the only one to deny the others. Papu with a big crash. Okay, so yeah, it's Aurel versus Scrappy at the moment. Gwen a bit behind, has usually not a chance to catch that up. And yeah, the lead by Scrappy gets bigger and bigger. So over to 10th already. Might have his biggest chance now in this lap.
Yep.
Oh, Gwen also missed a mistake. So it's basically just 2 players now. and the track is not so difficult that they would both fail, like it could happen on other tracks. So we can assume that one of these two players will win this round. Crappy or Aurel? Who will it be? Aurel with a very good crash section and reactive boost section, catching up a lot now, completely back on the boosters. There was a tiny bit of room. Catches up slightly bit, but it's not enough. Scrappy will accelerate early. Scrappy gets it, and he is through as the 9th player going into this, starting on map 3, and he's already through. And yeah, that's a very interesting setup, because now we have only 2 more spots left, and there are still Gwen and Papu. They are already finalists at least, but those 2 were in the final 4 last season.
Indeed, Marius, indeed, that's a great thing that you've added there. Gwen, definitely one of the fastest players, and Scrappy looked so strong, and so this section here from Scrappy that comes up after that, it was so good, it was executed so well from Scrappy, and definitely deserved here. So he shows that why he's in here, and definitely also a shout out to Evon, that will be important for him. The mentality, because Scrappy is in the final 6 and he shows us that he is fast, and of course the format will be a little bit like that in the head-to-head, so Scrappy is a hard nut to crack. But now Papu is actually in that battle with Bren here in that first lap, so cool to see that. But of course Gwen is in finalists and he has still yet to win a round, but great line here from Gwen. TM currently going into that first position together with Bren, who makes the no slide there, or misalignment, so Bren is out here, and there's only Aurel left, and as well as Afi, but he's a little bit further behind, so we might have another winner, and then we only have 1 more spot left here for one of those players. So the pressure is of course rising now, as I've said that before, and Afi with so much speed there going into that second lap now.
Yeah, ooh, another mistake. Was that Aurel? It was Aurel.
Afi as well.
So it's Afi as well. Ooh, that's of course a bad thing, because that means for them that 1 player will come through, Gwen or Papu. And that is actually a very interesting story as well, because both players counted to the favorites, as they were already in the final 4 last season and also were doing great in the steps. But both players were actually struck.
Oh, Papu!
The crash. So that means Gwen only has to drive it through. So yeah, both players were actually struggling very, very hard. We now see, by the way, a new thing of the TMGL, because after each checkpoint that Gwen is over, how much does he need
2
to
seconds.
be at? 2 seconds. Then he knocks the other players out. So that is the 3rd checkpoint in a row that he has a lead of over 2 seconds, and that will end the round already now. And he's through. So we don't need to wait until he finishes after everyone has crashed, which is definitely a cool thing to have added. So I will talk with the story later more. So now let's focus on the last 4, and of course it could be the last round of this match.
Yeah, it could be the last round. Afi, Bren, Aurello, Papu, but only 1 person can make it. So Muda has made it, and definitely one of the players that was a white piece of paper for everyone going into that Trackmania Grand League, but he has proven us all wrong, or he has proven himself to be one of the fastest players, even though coming from a full speed background. But look at that, Papu is already 0.2 ahead here of Bren, so this looks really good for Papu here, for the Gamers Origin player, to knock out Bren, Aurel and Afi. And yeah, definitely some sort of catch-up work that they have to do here, because Papu is already 0.3, make it 0.4 ahead now, Marius.
Yeah, that went pretty quick. And I mean, he has this nice situation that he's the only finalist right now, at least. If he does not win this round, then he knows, okay, there is still maybe someone else finalist, but there's still the chance that he also gets denied. So, but now he is definitely the only one as finalist, and this is still confident for him. And he tries to use the situation right now. And I mean, that was very close here in the freewheel section, but he survived it, and he has a good lead. And of course, now the nerves will kick in a bit. That's normal, even for a guy like Papu, but he has a lot of experience in this game. So I expect him, of course, to hold the nerves and to close out this match. Aurel trying everything now to catch up. Afi is completely out of the round, and Brent still half a second behind. Aurel caught up quite a lot, but now in this section he loses it again. Of course, here also a third section, where Bren also catches up to Aurel now. Papu again, yeah, with a bigger lead now, around 4/10. Oh, Aurel will jump against the tree. Yep, tree here. And it is Bren far jumping to the left, but he survives it. Papu can make it one more identity, and he looked very stable in it. and also fast. He always had a good exit speed here out of it. So one more to go, and the players never really struggled hard with this. So I expect him to make it, and he does make it. Papu is the 6th guy, and we have now 3 players knocked out from this day. It is Bren, Aurel, and Afi, and that was the shortest possible match that we could have had, as nobody of the eliminated players has won a round.
Exactly, and I see one person in the Netherlands right now smiling. He's really smiling. And you know why? Because he has qualified to the Trackmania World Cup with that. Spam definitely is through with that. He will get an 8th position and is directly qualified to that. So congratulations to Spam, because Bren is eliminated, and if Bren would have made it, if Bren had made it to the final, he would have been through. So that wasn't the case. So congratulations to Spam. And also
wait, there's still a chance that Mother and Scrappy reach the top 2.
But Scrappy is already through, isn't he? He's already in the thingy because of the points from Season 1, or right?
No, he was not really having good points in Season 1.
Okay, yeah, now I get it, because Scrappy and... Okay, so Scrappy, Bren and Muda then. Alright. Okay, so sorry for that, but one person, so regardless of that, it's getting better and better here for him. But of course, theoretically, it's possible. But then I got the information wrong, but definitely a cool match here, I have to say that. And yeah, let's go ahead and yeah, I think we're gonna start in some minutes again with the top 6. So maybe we're gonna explain the format there, Marius. Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah. Top 6 is, if I'm recalling correctly, it is the same. Or let me check.
Yeah, it is.
It is the same, so players have to win 2 rounds, and then it will be through. I can continue with my little story with Gwen and Papu. So they are both players definitely counting to the favorites, because they were performing in the previous seasons. Like Gwen, of course, was having his first season in fall 2020, and Papu was already in multiple editions in the top positions, and they were doing great in the steps. Both have already had their winning steps, and then they also reached the final 4 in the end. And yeah, we expected them, of course, to do well again this season, but both players, Papu and Gwen, for a long time looked like they actually would not go into the top 8. But then after step 6, suddenly they were both in. They could have been both out, but they both made it in. And now that they are here, where it's about being fast, they can actually go far. But it was so tight for both of them. So yeah, very interesting. But our prediction as well, with Afi and Aurel struggling here, was actually correct. Both players eliminated. The other one, Bren, that was not completely obvious, because he definitely he had scored a lot of points this season, but he lost already. He already also lost many points. So this is why it was very close for him to make it into the top 8. But yeah, Bren now not able to win a round. He didn't really find into the match. I mean, such a match can be quickly over as well. And yes, I mean, he was sometimes in the fight for the lead, but never really. He never really was in the lead. He never really had the chance to really get the point.
True that. I mean, Bren was severely struggling in this format. And yeah, Afi and Aurel out. I mean, it was very close for Aurel in some rounds. Afi didn't really look too strong, maybe on some rounds, but he didn't really match the pace. Bren also, yeah, just when Scrappy was coming in, he was just like stomping them. And I'm also looking forward to see how Scrappy will perform now with that. He will continue from the start, you know, he will how it will go like that. And we're starting in 5 minutes the match, actually, so we're gonna go to a different server, Marius, as I'm just joining onto the server. So TMGL finals, and then just play and go final 9, final 6. Wait, play, join. I think I just want to press the join button there. But those are the standings here. You can see Kalgina, Pack, Gwen, Muda, Papu, and Scrappy are through, as I've just implemented that here real quick to the stream. But actually, you're gonna join onto the next server. And no, I didn't jinx spam, actually, because I highly doubt that Muda and Scrappy will be the final. It is possible, of course, but I think they won't be in the final. Or what do you think, Marius?
The biggest favorites here are, of course, Pack, Carl Jr., and that actually the final will be between Scrappy and Mudder, it would be a surprise.
Yeah.
Definitely. One of them, yeah, maybe, because in this format everything can happen. But the chance is quite high that Packard Jr., one of them, will definitely be in. And I mean, Gwen, of course, also very fast. But I have the feeling with Gwen that these maps are not really his strongest maps. Because he was more scoring in the last steps. And many maps here are coming from the first steps where Gwen was not really performing. And then also on the last steps, I remember some maps where he was performing very nicely. But most of them are not in this map pack. I think reversing could be a good map for Gwen. He was winning there.
Yeah, he was very good there, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure with Arctic Split, because that's of course a map that came in the end. But I think on Arctic Split he actually lost also points in step 5. I'm not sure anymore how he scored there.
But Arctic Split is a hard map for everyone, especially this multi-lap part. There are a lot of really hard parts that you have to get used to. Granadi, of course, played very good there yesterday. And yeah, now how this works, we have the third, second, and first who can pick a map, because we only have 4 maps, so map 4 is randomized. And yeah, we didn't see Arctic Split yet, which is wait, we've seen Arctic. We didn't see Arctic Split yet. We have seen Bicycle, Reversing, Frozen Fridges, and Slalom. So Arctic Split is probably not that popular by the players, actually.
Were you able to join the server already?
No.
I only see Final 9.
I'm on the Discord at the moment since Omar is pinging us when the server's up, so Softy is pinging us then.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how things are going. And hello everyone. Did Turbo Curse spam? Yes, he Turbo Cursed him. Oh god, come on guys. No. And no again. No again. And no again. Okay, of course I didn't curse spam. I'm not cursing Tim.
Yeah, so next match will be tough. I mean, actually in the first match there were not that big surprises for me.
Same. Maybe Bren, but who else should have been out? I mean, Calginia, Peck, Gwen, then also Scrappy was for sure for me. Papu, maybe Muda. But I think Muda will have a good shot here of being the underdog, and maybe even snipe his position into the top 4. So let's make a prediction, Marius. Who do you think is going out now? What do you think?
Who's going out now? Scrappy.
Okay.
And Papu.
That's actually a guess that I would have gone for as well. But I think actually that Gwen is going out now.
Yeah, it's also possible.
Yeah.
Because he did not really. It wasn't really that confident. It was when the last steps, when he had these races, he was directly starting and he was far ahead of everyone in some of these races. But this was not happening here today. I'm not sure with Gwen.
So Gwen doesn't look too fast actually. Gwen doesn't.
He also played Gamers Assembly. I'm not sure how well trained he was there, but
he wasn't trained.
Definitely, that definitely caught some time that he could have trained for this year, but I don't know.
But he was in the final, so whatever. Yeah. It's Gwen. I mean, it's Gwen. That's the point. But I think, I don't know, Muda also could be eliminated. But I think that actually, it will. Carl Jr. and Peck, yes, they are just on another level. We agree on that, and I think the chat is also agreeing on that. And then
that would be an upset if they don't make it.
Yeah, it can happen, of course. Everything can happen in this wild format. But I think that Scrappy has a good chance. He looked very strong. I'm not sure how good he's on the other maps because he also only played one map. You have to consider that. And yeah, Muda, Papu. Yeah, I think Muda and Papu are going out here. Actually. I think they will be eliminated. And not Gwen. I'm changing my mind. And hello everyone. How are you guys doing? You just joined in time to the Trackmania Grand League. as we have the final 6 coming up now, and then final 4, and then there will be the grand final. And yeah, I'm just quickly gonna show my prediction again. Of course, I cannot change that now and can't say, oh, your Gwen is going out, you know. Not gonna go for that. So that's my prediction. Why is that changed again here? My god. Like that. So Pack is winning, Carl Jr. in second, and Gwen on P3. So I have to go with Gwen, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely.
Server's up.
Okay. For me, definitely also the big favorite for today is Pack. Just because of the pace that he had.
Of the Pack E that he has.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I expect him to win. Carl Jr., of course, I have to say he did not really have many map wins. He, of course, was incredibly consistent. And consistency is, of course, also key here. Not as important as in 6 laps races, but whenever there is a bad round from the others, he can be there and get it. Yeah, unless he's very unlucky and exactly that moment he also has a bad round. But yeah, usually you would say he should make it. But yeah, he does not completely drive much faster than the others. But maybe he was not doing 100% in the races in order to be consistent. And yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Carl Jr. He's just very strong and he knows what he does. He's very experienced how to do that. And as champion from last season and dominating in the steps in both seasons, he is, of course, also main favorite. I got this.
Same. But we're gonna start at 1950, so all good. So I'm just gonna join again. But yeah, Carl Jr. performs when it matters, and I think that's an important thing that we should consider if you want to describe him as a person, as a player, because he's definitely the greatest of all time. We have seen it at Gamers Assembly again. He's definitely a very fast player and does it when it matters. But not sure if it's enough for Pack, who didn't really practice too much for Gamers Assembly. And yeah, we can join the server again. But we're gonna start in 2 minutes. And yeah, then we are going live. So the maps that have been picked, let me actually check. We have restarted because it was the wrong map order. So I have no information what the map order is. Currently, I cannot tell you because it hasn't been disclosed yet. /list, is that working? No, it's not working, but why can I chat? Hello? Maybe I can chat and the other people can see me. the players, you know?
Oh, Carl Jr. is finalist.
Yeah, Carl Jr. is finalist. Oh, goodbye.
Too bad.
Probably wrong map order again. I don't know. Well, we are crashing.
In that spreadsheet, I don't see anything yet. But I
what
always
spreadsheet?
have trouble. Yeah, in the announcement on the Trackmania Discord, there was one link that leads to a spreadsheet where I thought that you see who picked what, because I see it in the final 9 there, but not in the final 6.
Actually, Eric is saying, since Brent didn't make it, that should secure Spams a safe spot in the Trackmania Grand League World Cup 2021. I think that, yeah, I don't know, but are we gonna find out afterwards, so all good. All good, all good. And, yeah, we're still gonna wait until the server is up again. So maybe for the 3rd time.
No, I can join, I can join.
Okay, you can join. Maybe Carl Jr. is finalist again.
So I'm shortly going on toilet until it starts.
All right.
Then you can take over.
Thank you. Think like that, it's better, right? That should be good. Oh, maybe like that. A little bit more. Like that. Come on, let's do it like that. So, we are currently waiting for the players as we have the map here that we have seen was very good for Scrappy reversing And of course, Scrappy was P number 3. So he is definitely, yeah, he was picking this map as the first person. And he was ready on that. Oh wait, no, actually, Scrappy made it in 4 rounds and not in 3 rounds. I was confusing that. So sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. But we're still waiting for Scrappy to join the server. Maybe he doesn't have to join later. That was only the disadvantage from that other one. So yeah, Papu, Carl Jr., Pack, Muda, Gwen, and Scrappy are on the server. And it was actually Pack who picked this map as the 3rd map. So I'm interested to see how he's performing on this one. He said that this map pack is suiting him very well. So I expect him to be very good on this. So any predictions? Who's gonna win? I think that Pack is taking it here ahead of Scrappy, and then Carl Jr. is getting 3rd. And for P4 we have Gwen against Muda and Papu. That's just my guess. But let's see the ending here from Pack. Oh-ho! He's going for the line that Afi also went for. So Pack is doing it really nicely here, I have to say that. And Pack is making it. Nice. Nice one. Okay, so we might start now, actually. We might start now, and let's take a look onto the players, as Marius probably comes back now just in time. Hello, Marius.
Hello.
So I just was talking a little bit about the map. So I was thinking that this map is definitely good for Pack, because he also did the same end that Afi did. That was really looking strong. But let's go ahead into the first round. Let's go ahead, Marius. You just go ahead for the first round if you want to.
Alright, then let's spectate Pack here. And we'll see if he can again close it out very quickly. I think there was one mistake.
Scrappy.
It was Scrappy, so he's early down already. But not too bad now, because now there are of course the very big opponents there with Pack and so on. But of course this is a very good map for Scrappy, so at least one victory would be of course great for him. Maybe this map would have been better if it came later. But this is of course why we have also this pick and ban phase, and the players with the best seeds have the most advantage here, the biggest advantage, in order to get their best maps when they need them. But yeah, we have Pack currently in the battle here with Gwen for the first place, and Pack gets a very beautiful landing and goes into the lead into this backwards speed slide. Here he made one mistake in the steps, where he lost all his points. Yep. As his car was not turning around, but now it worked beautifully, and he has got a good lead now of 2/10.
Yeah, great line here from Pack. I just have to say that he is 2/10 ahead, as Marius has pointed out beforehand. So Pack is definitely doing very, very nicely. But Gwen, of course, is behind that. So Pack just has to survive, quote-unquote, the ending. But Gwen is not slowing down, as you can see. A very risky line here from the Game Ward player. But still, it's not enough here to come closer to the MnM player, to the beast, the man, the myth, the legend, Pack. He's definitely one of the fastest players. And currently, right now, you would say he's cruising, you know, he's cruising. And he's cruising to his first victory here, and he could go up into finalist yet again. So Pack is nowhere of slowing down. But look at the line here from Gwen, very risky, but having too much airtime. So also Carl Jr. is coming closer, but Pack, not with the best speed. He didn't get a good SD there. Then this means that Gwen is coming closer, but Pack is going for a good ending. And look at that, Pack is sniping it, and Pack is getting that first point. Look at this line, such a nice execution from Pack, and Thomas Cole is taking that first point.
Yeah, he made it like Afi without any jump, and wow, I mean, that was again sick performance here by Pack. Again, just winning straight away when he has all the opponents still in the match, like 5 opponents, he's the one to win.
Yeah, he's the one to win, exactly, and Pack is in finalists already. So that is definitely a very, very good way to start it off with it. And Scrappy again with a mistake there at the start, so he pulls the mat. And I think you know the best how it feels like to spectate Matt in that first season, or also in the second season, where Matt has made some mistakes. But of course he still played very well, but he's of course not a tech player. But Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes in that first corners. So Gwen, Carl Jr., Papu, and Pack are in the top 4. Muda is a little bit further behind, so we will not probably see him winning unless he gets a crazy ending or a crazy identity now. But Pack, of course, has a red name, and Pack currently with a good entry into this identity, into this backwards part, goes into the lead here, overtakes Gwen for P1. But of course now the turn one is really decisive. But look at that, so close to the wall. What is Pack doing? Thomas Cole is risking it yet again, and it's working out.
Yeah, that looked not that controllable anymore.
And Marius is probably right now lagging out. That is not a good thing. As we see Carl Jr. coming a bit closer to Pack. And yeah, I'm just gonna take over this round. Sorry, Marius, for that. That is such a bad timing for Discord. Marius has some issues with that, but Pack is currently leading here at Carl Jr. So it's unfortunate for Marius that he cannot cast this one. I'm so sorry for you. But let's take a look here as Pack is leading with a 0.2 gap here. We've seen 2 DNFs and Scrappy being 54 seconds behind. But Pack can make it here. 5 rounds played and he can already be in the money. So Pack is approaching it good, but Gwen with way more speed. Again, the ending is deciding it. Gwen versus Pack here for that last part in this identity, and Pack is doing it very nicely. Look at that. Pack has it. Pack is through. What a madlet. This guy is absolutely incredible. Pack is already in the best of 4 players here in the Trackmania Grand League playoffs. This guy is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and poor Gwen was getting now twice the second place, and yeah, does not have a win yet. And now, of course, he needs to beat all the others. Now it counts for him as Pack is away, but yeah, Pack, incredible. I mean, this just... I get a call.
Huh? Hello?
I'm getting a call in Discord, interestingly. But it's not you. Okay. But well, okay, then let's continue here with Crappy in the lead. This time he does not fail the start. That's good for him. Carl Jr. in second place, Mother, and Gwen with the early DNF. Yeah, very unlucky map for Gwen, because we know that Gwen is very strong on this, and he showed this in this round, but there was just no thing against Pack, who drove twice a 2 minutes 04 time. Let's see what will be the winning time now in this round. But there's Scrappy in the lead, gets attacked now by Papu, who's landing very straight and loses a bit of extra speed, but still pulls the second place. No, he doesn't. Mother with much more speed down the grass. Now the turnaround. Scrappy loses some time, and we have Mother directly sniping it and going into the lead.
I'm a little bit worried about Carl Jr. actually, because he didn't really have a saying in the last 3 rounds. It was always Pack versus Gwen, and now Gwen is dead, and now it's between Scrappy and Muda, and of course that would be tremendous for them to get themselves the first point, as Scrappy is extending his lead here to 0.2 of a second. So Scrappy is doing really good here. But of course, Pack is just insane. He wins just 2 rounds in a row. Man, this is what describes Pack the best. This ending, that was really, really insane. I just have to say that. That was an insanely good ending from Pack. And let's see if someone can replicate that or not. Scrappy also is very fast on this ending, but not with that line, as Papu presses B for boost here. Of course, he has to release more than that, and Scrappy does it really good. Scrappy's still in the lead, but what a close round. It's no one's round yet. We have the top 4 here. Gwen is the only one who had DNF'd. Muda, Papu, or Scrappy. Colgene is a little bit too far behind. Muda with a good approach there, but Scrappy has it. Scrappy has it. Scrappy with the first point there. It is Papu bonking into the finish, and Scrappy with the finalist mode. Just 0.12 ahead of Muda, but yeah, great round here for the players.
Yeah, close round, but when we have a look at the time, winning time was a 2:05.6, so that is quite far behind Pack's times, who did 2:04. But it was very close there. Carl Jr. with the best lap, had the best flying lap, caught up some time, but was not able to overtake the others, even though he also had a similar ending than Pack with the no airtime. But it's not really that much faster. It looks a bit safer though, if you can manage to get the entry into that. So yeah, Carl Jr. so far stumbling, and it reminds me of last season, where he also had this one match where he needed very long to get his victories. In the end he came through, but he was also there in danger, because it's just about his first place, and yeah. Of course, the pressure is rising also on Carl Jr.'s shoulders now, but we know he can handle pressure very well.
Exactly, but let's go here into the next one. We have 5 players left: Muda, Papu, Scrappy, Gwen, and Carl Jr. And one of them is finalist, has a red name. It's the Lazarus player, Scrappy, which was P14, if I recall. Yeah, P14 he was on that regular season and qualified through our yesterday. And now he's about to maybe make it into the top 4. Currently also has the best start together with Gwen here. So both of them having a similar speed and similar lines here in this section. So 200s between them. But again, this map is very close. Papu has fallen behind and he is out on that race. Muda also a little bit behind, but now there's Carl Jr., the Solary player. He has to push it. He is, of course, maybe even feeling the pressure if the second and maybe even the third person goes through, and Carl Jr. didn't make it. And I mean, this could be the end of an era, because in every match that, or in every tournament that Carl Jr. plays, he makes it into the final. Marius, if you think about that, that is just crazy. It's crazy to say, and Carl Jr. definitely is one of the players who is the fastest and the most consistent. But the others are as well. Gwen and Scrappy are leading and declaring that under themselves here. Scrappy 600 ahead, but this turn is very decisive. Scrappy is doing it good and is leading. Gwen also with good speed.
Yeah, what a performance by Scrappy. That would be an upset if he actually gets through here right after Pack. I mean, he took his chance and he won this one round on the previous map where we knew he is strong. But it seems like he's also strong here, as he's still in the lead. Fighting against someone called Gwen here. And yeah, Scrappy actually gets a bigger lead now. So, and the ending is not too difficult for these players. I barely see anyone actually falling off in the identity. So the chance is very high if he can just keep this lead that he has, and it's looking very confident there. The big chance for Scrappy to go into the top 4. And if you reach the next step, you win at least 500 euros as well. That's something we have to point out. But Scrappy has not the best line here, and now it gets tight also with Carl Jr. Carl Jr. also comes back and has the chance to win this round. The identity will decide who gets the most amount of boost. Gwen is a bit behind. Carl Jr. takes over the lead of Scrappy. Now the very last one. I think Scrappy, no, Carl Jr. has it. Carl Jr. snipes it from 3rd place to 1st in the very ending, and that is what makes him a champion, that he actually gets such a round, because this could have been now very close to him if someone like Scrappy already gets to the next round.
Wow. That was crazy, Marius. That was absolutely crazy. This ending there from Scrappy was failing in that one part where also Bren was crashing. And I think someone else made a mistake. This right-hander with a reactor boost attached is definitely not easy. And now we have 2 finalists. So Carl Jr. is redeeming himself and is in the finalist mode. But who will join them? Or is it maybe some of those 2 players who will clutch it out? Scrappy, of course, with a mentality that is a little bit gone for him, since he just, he didn't make it that well there. But now he's in the battle with Gwen, as we see the first mistake already. I think that was Papu again. So Papu really struggling here. He's really struggling, and Papu is dead. P5. He won't come back from that, and Scrappy versus Gwen here. So we could have a 3-way finalist mode. But I didn't really see too much from both Muda and Papu thus far. Gwen looked very strong on that other map, on that prior map, but now he's also battling it out with Scrappy here, the Belgian player. But Scrappy gets a really good identity. Gwen with a little bit more speed, but of course the speed doesn't really matter too much here, because you also have to release here. But both are very equal again going to that lap. But then there's of course also Carl Jr. making it, but it's actually Scrappy with a mistake as well as Carl Jr. So Gwen is now leading. So double mistake. Oh, that! Oh my God! You've got to be joking me.
Yo, that is a nice gift for Mother, who will probably, now that he sees the number 1 sudden, that was close with the tree, that he sees now the number 1 on his car, and yeah, he's already knocking the other players out as he has over 2 seconds of a lead. But yeah, what a nice gift for him, that all the 3 players ahead of him has done mistakes. But this is because of this format, because you need to risk, and they basically, Scrappy and Carl Jr. thought that at the same moment, that in the same sector, that they have to risk. But Gwen's mistake, yeah, that was just 1 sector later. He probably did not realize at that point that he is suddenly further in front. And yeah, Mata takes the advantage, and he will, of course, be very happy about that, because so far he did not really have a saying in this matchup to win a round. But now he just got 1 free point and is finalist, and just 1 round away, like Scrappy and Carl Jr., to actually win a lot of money and to reach the next phase here in the top 4.
Exactly, and then there's also Scrappy, so we could have a four-way finalist situation, and this was a gift for Muda. It was a little bit of a miracle because he was like that far behind compared towards the others. He was like 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 behind, and then just all of the three players who were also ahead of him now have made that mistake, and now Muda makes the mistake, so it's the battle here between Scrappy, Cole Jr. and Gwen. And of course, one of them is not finalist yet. Gwen is not finalist yet. He didn't win a round yet, and maybe he won't win a round here in this one. But currently, it is looking very good for the three players to make it happen here. Carl Jr., however, going to that identity for me. This is the identity. This drift here, this freewheel drift is the identity for me. Also the best. But Gwen, however, is still leading the round here. With a better slide, he can make it happen. I was thinking that he will have it better, but no, that wasn't the case. So, yeah, actually, Carl Jr. currently is leading. So I thought Gwen has more speed, but that's not the case. So let's go here into that last part of the track. It's still very close between them. Gwen with the attack there. Very aggressive line here by the Game Ward player, but still nothing is decided. Also, Scrappy is still in the mix here, but didn't get the best outcome from that. But of course, there is still this part that Scrappy messed up. Goes so close there to the tree. How did Scrappy not touch that tree there? And with that, he is in the race and the momentum is coming here. This small slide is very important to get the angle done. Gwen, Cole Jr. or Scrappy. Scrappy not with the best speed. Cole Jr. can make it happen here. Bear in mind, Cole Jr. is in finalist. But also Scrappy with a good amount of speed. Cole Jr. has to survive once more, but Scrappy with a mistake and he is dead. So is it Gwen or Cole Jr.? It is Cole Jr. taking it, and Cole Jr. is through, as well as Pack. So again, the same rhythm or the same order than on the other rounds.
What an identity by Carl Jr. though. In the first turnaround, he caught up so much time to the other players and got such a huge lead already. Very unlucky so far, this match for Gwen. I mean, usually you would think Gwen either he's always full risking. If he comes through, he should win and beat everyone. And if he makes the crash, then he's out. And this format should suit him very good. He only has to win twice, and he can crash very often. But yeah, interestingly, every time he survived now, he's actually not winning. He's only getting second behind Pack, now second behind Carl Jr. And he does not have this one victory yet. And yeah, now it gets very tight for him at this point. Of course, it's only Pack and Carl Jr. through so far that were anyway the favorites. But yeah, interesting, because Gwen has here, as we see now, really strong and fast opponents. So Gwen surviving does not mean that he wins the round immediately as well.
Exactly.
There are players fighting against him. Also Scrappy, as we saw, had the pace on the previous map. But now we will change the map. And Papu was actually not really doing very strong so far. We didn't really see him a lot. But on this map, I believe this is one of the strongest. I believe Papu has a chance here to get his victories, but maybe he really has to get it now on this. Otherwise, it might be a struggle. I mean, it could be also very quickly over here if Scrappy and Mother are the two to win the next two rounds, and it's already over and out. Oh, dead. Papu is off already. Yeah.
Dead.
And another one, Mother, also dead, so it's just a 1v1 situation right now. If one of those two guys crashes, then the round will be over after 3 CPs. But both are making the identity. Gwen, of course, now he has to win. I mean, he cannot let Scrappy get this victory here. Then the pressure is very, very high for Gwen. But yeah, currently he holds it with 210.
Yeah, currently he's in the lead and he's also extending it, but of course he has a very fast opponent behind him, Scrappy, the Lazarus player. He's doing really fantastic here in this one, but of course Gwen has to win this round because then the pressure is rising, but also for Papu the pressure is rising since he has to win and he knows that. And if it's your best map, you feel the pressure on this one, but currently it is Gwen who is leading, but Scrappy is not slowing down. He's not slowing down, even though it's 0.3 of a second. It's only one good identity here for Scrappy, but gets a really, really awkward uphill there. Lose a lot of speed there. I think he was sliding too much, so Gwen is extending the lead to 0.6 of a second. Papu goes there with a DNF, and Gwen might have it here. There's just one more identity. He should have a cool head, and Gwen is making that Not the fastest identity, but it's enough, and Gwen gets his first victory in a very anticlimactic way, but of course those things can happen. Scrappy in second, and now we have 3 finalists, but only 2 more spots in the next rounds.
Yeah, interesting match for Scrappy. In the first 2 rounds, when Pack has won, Scrappy directly with the early mistake, but then he won his round. And after that, I mean, he was in pretty much every round so far after he got finalist in a situation that he could have made it. He was always like there, but never really made it. He never got the first place again, but he was close all the time. So he's really playing very, very good. And remember, he was not qualified for these playoffs from the steps. He made it through the final chance. And I think we definitely see the correct player qualifying through there, as he is really, really with a form and with a chance to challenge these other players. He has actually the chance to reach the top 4.
Exactly, he has the chance of making it. But let's take a look into this round. Papu again with the same mistake in this part, Marius. This is not good. Again with a mistake there. Now we will definitely have a winner. Scrappy, Gwen, or Muda going into that second, or into that first identity, and then into the second lap. Sorry for that. Muda is doing really good. The Ice Queen, very nice identity. Look at the speed from Muda. That is such a nice identity. And Muda could actually make it. Muda, and then it's Scrappy versus Gwen. So Gwen could be eliminated, Marius, which is a thing that I didn't consider beforehand concerning the map. So we could already end it on the map number 3 here. But Muda is leading. He is finalist. And then there is Scrappy, who's 0.4 away, so only a mistake here from Muda, and it would be enough for Scrappy, of course, to make it happen. But let's go ahead and see what happens in the last part of the track.
Yeah, that's the thing with this system. Muda, if he survives this, he only needed 1 good round, and he's through. The other round was a gift, and only 1 good round, and he can qualify for the final 4, and he will do so. Most likely. I mean, he just has to do the identity, but his main rival is gone. Gwen has a very fast lap, though. Gwen was very far behind. He caught up a lot, but it's just 1 more identity to go. And Gwen risked it too much. Muda is making it into the top 4. GG to Muda, who came from the Open Grand League, and he actually delivered this season a lot. I mean, really, really well done.
Deserved.
And now... yeah, deserved, definitely deserved. And yeah, now it's the question, who goes out? Will it be Papu and Scrappy, or Papu and Gwen? Or is Papu actually making the comeback and winning 2 rounds in a row?
Yeah, again, I mean, if you think about the top 4 comeback last season, where he had a very, very crazy round to snipe Pack and actually denying Pack the final entry. And then it was Gwen making it. And yeah, I mean... it is Papu who has to push it. He has nothing to lose here, but of course a lot of pressure on his shoulders. But this could be the last round here of the evening for, or it could be the last one for either Gwen, Scrappy, or Papu. For like 2 of them, it could be the last round. But Papu can certainly lose it, and not making a mistake here again, but going slow close there again. But Papu again is on the racetrack. Scrappy also with a very good turn there, but what are those risky lines there? Look at that, just a tiny tad of releases. But Scrappy is currently leading, but only by a hair. Gwen is entering this identity at first and is now leading. Papu goes so far up, has a little bit more speed, but Marius, this is such a close fight here for that first position between those 3 players. Look at this, 100 between them going into the multi-lap.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, everyone is just doing his best that he can do. Like, everyone is going all in and everyone survives it. That is so cool to see. What a round. Gwen now with a slight lead here, but this is so tight. I mean, he's also risking so much, going so low in the wall right here, fully to the left, even a slight wiggle, but Scrappy is coming back from last place. What is this line by Scrappy? And now Papu is dropping to 3rd, but he's still, of course, so close to both players. This is the lap that we waited for. These players are delivering. This is why this is TMGL. What a round. Papu now full risking it in the section that he crashed twice.
Oh, Gwen's dead! Papu!
Gwen crashing! And Papu is leading. He has the chance to win this round, and if he doesn't, then Scrappy will be through. 1 more identity to go. Gwen out of this. Papu gets it very nicely. Scrappy as well. The exit will decide on not hitting the flags, but Papu has to lead. He's far left, but this is enough, and he makes it, and we have a triple finalist situation coming up now. 206.9.
What a round, man. And it was Scrappy making a small mistake there, and this first identity didn't do it this time. He probably was a bit scared by that. But Gwen touching the outset there. Also Scrappy not with the best speed on that slalom part. But man, I don't want to know what the heartbeat of those players is right now. But exactly a very, very close round. A very close round. And we're gonna end it on the random picked map. It is not Frozen Fridges. It is Arctic Split. And I've actually no idea who's particularly good on this one, Marius. Does someone of those players actually won or did particularly good on this track or not?
Quickly have to look on my paper. Card Junior Pack, Madam. I didn't see what it was in the last step here, but yeah, difficult to say. I mean, will we see another of these close rounds, or will two players crash out early on now? That can of course also happen, but because they have to risk it all in again. And yeah, it's now the last round definitely for two players. Oh, Papu is dead. He's dead already in the beginning. I think yesterday Scrappy might have had slow starts also on the ice, but this time I'm not sure, but yeah, now he survived. Papu, however, dead, and yeah, with plus 8 seconds, of course he will continue now, but the chance that he makes it are very, very grim and small. And yeah, it is Scrappy versus Gwen. Gwen not with the best line, who had to adjust his line, and Scrappy takes over the lead. But of course, in this identity is so difficult, and you can risk it also a lot here. And we know that Gwen will risk it, but I have somehow the feeling that Gwen will make the mistake. But we will see how it will come. But Scrappy definitely with the advantage. And this, of course, is the reason why Gwen will go full risk now. So first jump. Gwen touching.
Oh no!
You. And this could be it. If the gap is over 2 seconds, then this could be over. So we have 1.78, oh no, over 1.5 seconds only, I think. Because he is knocking out. Scrappy is knocking out. It is only one more. He only has to survive.
No way!
He got it.
Gwen is out as well as Papu. Scrappy made it. Scrappy made it. And I wanted to pick him as my third player for that. But I was like, okay, Gwen on a good day. But it is Scrappy from P14, OGL, or P13, whatever. And now he is in the top 4 in the money. That is, Marius, that is incredible.
And this is the thing that some people actually told. It could happen that Scrappy gets demoted into the Open Grand League, but he wins the TMGL this season. It could actually happen, thanks to the final chance, which is a weird system, of course. But there is still the chance of this to happen. That the winning player, the champion, is not in the TMGL next season.
What if you expected that we see Gwen Papu in the top 6, both in the top 4 last year as well. Gwen being the runner-up in the playoffs in Season 2. And now they get eliminated by Muda and Scrappy. Wow. Man.
And it is, of course, this format. I mean, Gwen had his strong map right in the beginning with reversing and got second behind Pack. And he was second multiple times. And got his victory also just late. And then, yeah, I mean, the pressure is, of course, rising. And I mean, I was pretty confident that Gwen will crash in the identity. I saw that coming because he was behind and he had to go for it. And then maybe it was, yeah, I'm not sure how to say in English, but he definitely probably just had a feeling it's almost over. He has to full risk and eyes closed and through, but it does not work every time.
Yeah, it does not work. And I mean, there was a miracle for Muda. Imagine he didn't win that round, because that was actually for Carl Jr., for Gwen, and I think also for Scrappy, if I recall it correctly.
Yeah, Papu was never really there in the beginning.
Gwen was leading after Scrappy and Carl Jr. made that mistake. You remember it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that is so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate for Scrappy, because for Gwen, because he could have been in with that. That is really, really unlucky for him. And yeah, now we have 4 players left that will fight it out for the prize pool here for 7,500 euro. 500 euro is for sure for them, so that's what we can tell to you. That is for sure for them. And I'm just gonna go here and do my overlay. Hopefully I can do it good. as you're not seeing it and recognizing it, that I'm working on the overlay there in the background. Let me just quickly do that. And yeah, Marius, I mean, now we have the top 4. We have 2 favorites here to go reach the final, but we have also 2 underdogs by the name of Scrappy and Muda.
And we still have the chance that Scrappy and Mother will be the final 2. Did you really jinx them?
My god, yeah, it can really happen. So that's crazy. Afi dead, Bren dead in round number 1, and then Papu and Gwen, and then of course also there was wait, there's one player missing, isn't it? Afi, Muda, Bren, Papu. 2, 4. No, wait. Am I dumb? Yeah, I'm dumb. Never mind, forget it. So we have 5 players there. Oh, it's a long day, whatever. So we have Aurel, Gwen, and then also Afi, Bren, and Papu being eliminated. And I think I can see a pattern, Marius. Maybe you can see that as well. Every French player is out. Afi, the French-speaking player, is out. The only French person left somehow is Carl Jr., if you include him as a French person. That's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, interesting. But there's also no German left. And yeah, France and Germany, of course, the 2 countries with the most player.
We can join the server, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, but now actually we have a different format. I think I have to explain that. But first of all, the maps that have been picked, we have Slalom picked by Pack, Bicycle by Carl Jr., then Arctic Split by Muda, Reversing by Scrappy, and Frozen Fridges is the last map. Alright, so those are the maps. And now it works like that. You don't have to win 2 more rounds. You have to win... Wait. Server's now a bit... Huh? I just joined the same server again. It's actually now the mode that you have to win a map. And you win a map by winning 2 rounds. So it can also go to 5 rounds that everyone is finalist. And you have to win 2 maps in order to make it through. So I'm going to show it to you in the in-game overlay, as you can see here. We have now the points here at the top. MnM, Solary, Edelweiss, and Lazarus. And there you can see the points. So you need 2 points in order to pass, and you win a point by winning a map. So winning 2 rounds in a row. Or 2, not in a row. You just have to win 2 rounds.
Exactly, so we play every map so long until one of the players, has won 2 rounds on it. Yep. So it can be over on a map after just 2 rounds, if Pack, for example, wins directly twice in a row. But it can also take 5 rounds. Like, all 4 players win 1 round, and then someone wins the 2nd round. So very different how long it takes. And a player has to win 2 maps.
Yeah.
And the first 2 players that manage to win 2 maps, they will advance into the final 2. And this is, of course, a bit easier for the favorites, I would say, because in the other system that we just had, it can quickly go over. It can be a bit unlucky and can quickly go over. But here, it is a bit longer match, and when you are faster than someone, you definitely have the chance to beat them in several occasions. And of course, with Gwen out, it is definitely helpful for Pack and Carl Jr., I would say, because Mada definitely did not have the pace in the last phase, but he was lucky in this 1 round that he just got 1 gifted point. And Scrappy, he is strong, we must say that. He was definitely driving fast today and also quite consistent. But I think it's very good for Pack and Carl Jr., and that it's a big chance that they will reach the final with this format here. If we had the format of last season, where it was basically the same, 2 round wins and it's over, and that was a very short match because of that, then everything could happen. But with this format here, it's better. It's better for the favorite players, I would say. Because
you have to win 4 rounds instead of 2.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the main thing.
I really don't think that Call Jr. and Pack are advancing. I think Marius just stated out the opposite of that, that the favorites are going through. So that's the thing. So we think that Pack and Call Jr. can advance, most likely. So it's most likely because it was. You just have to take it into consideration. It was Muda who got a point gifted, and that's 50% of the progress. So you only had to win one more round, you know? And this is most likely not happening here because you have to win 2 maps. You know, and winning 2 maps, that is extremely unlikely to say that it's possible, of course. But I think that Carl Jr. and Pack also have the greatest chances. We have seen them both in round 1 and 2 really clutching it out here. And I think that they have a good chance. But I think Scrappy and Muda still play it out for the 3rd place, which goes home with 1,000 euros. So actually a lot of money, Marius.
Yeah, that's also on stake, of course. First place means 4,000 euros, second place 2,000.
Yep.
So reaching the grand finals already 2,000 euros. So 1.5k more than what you definitely achieve already at this stage. And yeah, 3rd place, 4th place is also important due to the prize money, which means we will play for all the positions.
Exactly.
We'll also play for the 3rd place, who wins 3k, 4, no, 1k.
3k for 3rd, for 2nd 2k.
That would be interesting. What would people do then? And yeah. Are we starting now? It's still warm up.
I think no, because the first map will be actually... Yeah, it will be actually slalom. Was picked by Pack. And definitely
yeah,
one
but
of
we have 3 finalists already, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we are not starting though. We are not starting though, by the looks of it. Because it's pre-match warm-up waiting for players staying in front of that. Maybe we're gonna start after the warm-up. I have no idea what is happening right now, but... yeah, it's a weird picture to see everyone being finalists except of Pack. That's a picture that we will not see probably.
Hopefully.
Because Pack is very strong. And actually, let me actually take a guess here. We could have 6 maps, right? Yeah, we could have 6 maps.
Yeah.
What is map number 6 then?
Wait, 1. 2, 1, 1, 1, and then the 6th map. Yeah.
And then also 1 for plea number 3.
So yeah, we were thinking about the 6th map already. It's starting now, I think.
Yeah, it's starting now, exactly. So I'm just.
I'm not sure if there was a 6th map and that they announced the 6th map. I thought maybe there was something like that.
Maybe it's the first map, then again, I don't know. Maybe like that. But let's go ahead here into the first round as we see Pack not with the best start actually. Pack not with a very wonky line, and it's Scrappy leading. So Scrappy ahead of Muda, and then we have Pack falling a little bit behind. So that could be the point for him. I mean, he only played 5 rounds thus far. To say like that, it's incredible to think that. So Pack definitely has to press B for boost here. Scrappy and Muda also in a very close by here, but Scrappy is leading though. But look at the line. Oh my god. What is this guy doing again? He's again leading. What is this Pack line? This guy's absolutely incredible. Look at the speed from Pack going into the lead. Guys, I think I don't have to add something to that. Going so far up there. But it wasn't the best identity for Pack here, to say the least. It is Muda leading though, but was steering a little bit too much. But Pack is actually dead. Pack is dead. Not DNFing though. Nice flip, but Pack is not taking it in the first round. And now Muda, Carl Jr. and Scrappy are there left. So Pack not winning the first round, Marius.
Yeah, that was an early upset here. Of course, he was very dominant on this map and never lost it. But now this will be the first round that he actually will lose. Scrappy going very far inside, but had to oversteer a bit, so he did not have the best exit speed, which means that Carl Jr. comes closer again. But yeah, interestingly, Mother leading. Of course, we saw Scrappy now in the previous match doing really, really well and fighting against Papu and Gwen in the second round. Carl Jr. with a mistake, and this is already the first round win for either Mother or Scrappy. Spam will not like that. Mother flying out, and we have suddenly Scrappy in the lead, and he only needs to survive the identity.
Yep.
He takes it very safe, and he knocks out already in the CPs, does he?
Yep.
Yeah,
GG.
he does. First point for Scrappy. That's an interesting start here.
But
because now,
Yeah?
Now it could be quickly over if he wins another round here, and then Pack on one of his good maps would not be a winner.
I think that Peg actually might be good on all the maps, I assume. But yeah, Scrappy. I mean, I think that this guy deserves it to reach the final, and this will be such a Scrappy story, as Eric said that to us beforehand. But yeah, let's go ahead into this round, because Muda and Scrappy, they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose here in this one, and they know that. They're playing against Carl Jr. and Peck, and they know that they are the favorites. So Carl Jr. and Peck, and Muda and Scrappy are the underdogs. They just know that. But again, Peck not with the best start here. So he really has to step up a bit. Comes a bit closer here in this part. Make it 0.17 of a second now, but still not the best speed here for Peck. But still, it's very close between them. Let's take a look onto the identity. It is Muda not doing it too good. Peck up into that second position, so Peck can maybe get himself that. Look at this identity from Peck. That was top notch. And now Peck from 4th to 1st in one identity. And that's how quickly he can do it.
Yeah, but it's not over yet. Carl Jr. is still there. But yeah, what a comeback by Peck, as he was only on 4th place. And after that, a bad first lap. He could maybe feel already some pressure, but no, he's just getting the best possible identity and overtakes everyone. But what a risk by Carl Jr. there at the grass exit. Really let his car take all the space that he had there, and got a lot of exit speed. Now catching up to Bren through the zigzag. Close call for both players. Now this next slalom where we see many mistakes, but both players survived it very nicely. Peck has to lift off a little bit because he was not landing with his wheels at the same moment, and that means that his car was not stable and Carl Jr. could overtake him. So the identity, which Peck got very beautifully last lap, will decide it. And Peck has a better angle for the S corner, but it will not be enough, I believe. If Carl Jr. gets a little steering, yeah, he does. So Peck only on 2nd place, and Carl Jr. gets the first victory here with a 2:07.01.
Yeah, that's unfortunate here for Peck in 2nd position again. He was also on 2nd on that first round, believe it or not. But yeah, now we have 2 finalists and no one has won this map yet. So let's take a look here, Marius, who's gonna take that 3rd round here on that map, as we still have not 3 rounds on each map. We have until we have a map winner, so we could have 5 rounds here.
Yeah, could take some time, and also could go over multiple maps. So it's very different, a very big difference between the match length possible. Like it could be quickly over and we have our final 2, or could go very long. But yeah, for now we have 2 finalists, and Scrappy is the one who leads currently, but nobody with an early crash. And Peck with the full risk. Like, what was that turn that he got there? From last to 1st in a blink of an eye, but yeah, with so much risk, and he survives it. But Scrappy is still there. The identity has to be cleared now. Peck gets it nicely. Carl Jr. gets it tighter. But Peck has more exit speed and straights out his car earlier than Carl Jr. and gets the lead of a 10th going into the 2nd lap.
Yeah, so hopefully Peck is taking it now, and this would mean a triple final situation. Very wonky start here for Peck in this 1st and 2nd round. But now he's looking to be in the match. But of course there's still pressure kicking in for him, but still he's 0.12 ahead. He was in this situation already, but Carl Jr. with a mistake there was seeing that one coming in that approach, and Carl Jr. is dead on this one. So now it is Peck having even more of a gap, and also Muda not with a good line there over this 3rd section, so Scrappy is able to pass him. Peck has 0.3 here to work with. He should not really risk too much here. Oh, my God. What was the line from Peck? Let's go here with Peck in that last part of the track. He can make it happening. It is Scrappy attacking though, but not getting the best speed out of that. By the looks of it, Peck has way more speed here in this section. So it's Peck doing it really good, and Peck has it, even though Muda is coming dangerously closer, but Peck has more speed, and Peck takes his 1st point. Well deserved and well needed for him, a 2:07.02, and Peck is being in finals as well.
Now triple final situation, and now only Muda is there to deny the victory for one of these 3 players. And so he's gonna spectate Muda here. If he does make an early mistake, then we know this will be the final round of this map, and the map win will go to either Carl Jr., Peck, or Scrappy.
Let's go into that. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Or should I?
All right. Of course, I think that Pack is the favorite here. We see already Scrappy with the early mistake. So he's already down and he has to hope for Mother to actually deny Pack and Carl Jr. But yeah, I think that Pack is a big favorite because of his earlier performances on this track and his raw speed that he has. He's currently also leading now again this risky section, which he definitely gets very beautiful. But this time, not getting a bigger lead here. Carl Jr. actually overtaking him at the exit of the slalom section. And now the identity will decide. Both players were doing it equally fine. One's Pack a little bit faster than the other time Carl Jr. But now Carl Jr. actually lost the grip. And Pack has a huge lead. Like, how much is that? He maybe knocks out the other players soon.
Oh, yes, he will. Yes, he will. Pack wins the first map. Pack wins the first map. Let's go. Pack has it. Pack wins it 5.8 seconds and everyone has died. So Pack is through here, Marius. Let's go.
1 point for Pack, 1 map win for him. It didn't look too good at the beginning, but he will still be always the winner on this track. What a performance by him.
Yeah, so first point here for Pack, and this is tremendous for him to make it into the final, and already making it to the final would be really, really, really good for him. And this is really nice to see. And yeah, now first point for him, so he needs 1 more map win in order to make it into the grand final. You need 2 points in total, and you're gonna see it here. MnM has 1 point, Solary, Edelweiss and Lazarus both with 0 points.
I think it will help Pack also to be more relaxed now, because I think after these first 2 rounds there was probably some pressure for him, but it made him stronger. Now he, I think, can be a bit relaxed, that he has it under control. He's far away from getting knocked out, because that would take now multiple maps until that happens. And so he has multiple chances now. And that's a great, great thing for him. And maybe he actually can close it out already here on the second map. As he, has now all the
We haven't seen
chances
him here yet.
Yeah, we don't know how he will perform.
Wow, man. That's crazy to think about. That Pack is just, again, he could make it in like 10 rounds into the grand final. Or like into like 15 rounds, and that's like the rounds that people have played in the first round, and that's just crazy for Pack that he is performing that well. And of course, currently it is the first round already, so we have no warm-up, and Pack is leading, Marius. Pack is leading. I was actually distracted by that, but Pack is already leading, so he can make it happen here. Pack is 0.2 ahead, and Pack is certainly ready on that Scrappy with the attack. What a speed from Scrappy, from the Lazarus player. Of course, he's also very fast and very risky, but gets it too far inside here. So he is currently, not with the best amount of speed by the looks of it, but Scrappy also very strong here, Marius.
Yeah, that was a sick line there. I mean, Pack was so far ahead in the identity, and suddenly Scrappy comes by. And then Pack was a bit off from the perfect line, and that also brings Carl Jr. in place. Scrappy actually slowed down a bit too much. He has good exit speed here, but that was not the best line, as he has to slow down directly again for the left. So we have now a triple fight here for this first round victory, but Pack not with a beautiful jump. This is actually a crash. There's a blind jump, of course, difficult to aim, but a mistake that we usually don't really see for these players. And now it's a battle between Carl Jr. and Scrappy here, and this was also a battle that we have seen in the final 6 on this map quite often. And Carl Jr. had this upper identity sometimes, and he does again. Was so far back on the boosters, but he will have the upper speed and gets the first map win.
But yeah, style points there for Scrappy, making that flip there in the ending by clipping.
Beautiful.
Chained backflip 720. But yeah, Carl Jr. taking that first one after Pack has made that mistake. So he is currently on P number 4. My god, he's not on a position. It's not cup mode, Turbo. Come on. Even though I was casting GA, it's not cup mode here. And let's take a look here. Pack with a weak start. So Pack currently on P4. So maybe he can make it happen in this round. Actually, he comes back pretty good here in this part. But it's still Carl Jr. who's ahead of him. But Pack with a beautiful slide here. So let's take a look here onto that battle. It is Scrappy only 0.1 away, but not the best line here for both Muda and Scrappy. So Pack and Carl Jr. are lurking away a little bit more, as you can see. So Pack and Carl Jr. again. This blind jump, Pack has failed that beforehand, but now he's failed. Yeah. He fails it again.
Actually also Scrappy. It's just a 1v1 situation now between Mother and Carl Jr. And if Carl Jr. wins this round, then this map is already over and Carl Jr. wins a map. And he is overtaking again. He is always having so much speed after the first identity part. And also here after the second one, he is ahead of Mother now. And has, however, not the best freewheel section. And Mother takes over the lead once again.
Ooh, that was so close here for Muda. And again, there was the gift here for Muda, this map, Marius. Consider that. Muda was winning around here on the final 6 mode. And now Muda is leading again. So he can make it happen.
Close round. But Mother with a good lead here. 1300s. Going a bit too inside in the stir. This will hurt him in the exit. This is the reason why Carl Jr. caught up here. Also here, beautiful exit from Carl Jr., so they are dead even again. And we know that Carl Jr. has the upper identity, usually at least. So going now to the right drift. Slight drift to the left. Carl Jr. has already a better line here at the exit, and on the ice he was so far always a tiny bit faster. And here, I mean, Mother stays close, but Carl Jr. Nah, the last one wasn't too good, but I think, yeah, it's still fine for him. And he wins this map after just 2 rounds. So this is how quickly it can also go. And we have already now Pack and Carl Jr. both with their map win. So it looks like they will actually make it to the final. But of course, it's still a long way to go. Both have to do that once more.
Yeah, never say never, of course. Both have to do it once more. And I mean, Scrappy and Buddha can both take the momentum with them and just win it there. So yeah, let's take a look here. Next map, it is what was the map name again? It was Arctic Split, and that was actually the pick by Muda. So Slalom was won by Pack, and it was actually his pack. Bicycle was picked by Carl Jr. and it was picked by Carl Jr. And now we have the map from Muda. The question is, will he win it now? Marius, we don't know. Let's take a look. Is Muda gonna win this round here, or this map? Definitely the start will suit him well. And let's take a look here. This map is definitely not easy.
No, that's for sure. Especially the identities, that is one of the hardest identities, the most difficult identities that we have in this map pack. And yeah, Muda with a good start, showing why he has picked it. But Pack also strong in this map and taking over the lead here after this quite difficult corner, quite difficult section. Pack going very high here for a lot of exit speed. We saw in the UGL some players actually jumping left of the pole, very risky line that brought not a lot of time. So didn't really feel like you should do it on this kind of map, because you can win time here also a lot on the identity. And I think nobody was going for that line. Now, Scrappy. Where did he come from? Suddenly overtakes Pack there in the wall, right? Going into the identity. And yeah, this is the track where Scrappy has won the triple final this round, and Pack continues to struggle in the first round.
Scrappy
now.
As well.
Scrappy also dead. That is now a lead for Carl Jr. of 1 second, and if he can get 4 more tenths, then he will start to knock out the other players.
Yeah, let's see if Carl Jr. can hold that momentum here. I mean, Muda and Pack both with a mistake, so that is not good for them. And also not the best line here for Scrappy, not really getting too much speed. And Carl Jr. will extend his lead here to 0.9. Okay, it's actually not extending, but he was coming closer because they were just slower. So let's take a look here. Only couple of track is left here for Carl Jr., but Scrappy's identity looked so good here on this map, or this part before the identity, to say the least. Going so close there over the tree, not able to touch it. Fortunately for him, else that would have been the GG here for Carl Jr. And yeah, soloy Carl Jr. is currently in the lead, and he can make it happen here. Let's take a look. I mean, Scrappy is so far away. He's coming closer though, but of course a mistake here from Carl Jr. And it's Scrappy's round, but that's not the case. First identity part is passed. Second one as well. Carl Jr. is calm and collected. Even though he has 1 more jump to go, Carl Jr. is not making a mistake. Scrappy's risking it so much, but Carl Jr. has it again, winning the 3rd round in a row. Scrappy with the best lap though, so also a good time here, but a 220.94 is enough for Carl Jr. to win it. and he is finalist again, and only one more victory for the Solary player to be in the grand final yet again.
Yeah, and I remember Grenadi's times were 220.6 very consistently. So Kaljunia actually timed it slower with his previous run, but it was enough to get the first round win. And yeah, Pack with the slowest start here of all the 4 players. Not the greatest ice drift that he got there, and already half a second down the leader, which is Muda currently. But Pack, of course, trying to catch up now. Doesn't work in this part right here. Now going for a lot of exit speed again. Ooh, that was far up. Barely survives it. But he was slightly clipping it, so I think it did not really pay off a lot. The next checkpoint will tell us more. It is 7/10 now. So yeah, the top 3 players here pretty far in front. So far not really the best map for Pack.
Oh, Scrappy's line, that was crazy. Caught up point 2 again, and look at that. Look at Scrappy's line here, Marius. That is absolutely incredible. And now it's a great fight here going into that second lap between both of the players who didn't win a map yet. So Scrappy and Muda, but also Kaljunia is there. Muda actually has made a mistake just when I said that, and now Scrappy has a lead of 0.5 of a second, so he can maybe extend that, but Kaljunia, of course, is behind him. And keep in mind, if Kaljunia wins this, he will move into the grand final, so he can make it already happen. But Scrappy looking strong here to deny Kaljunia. And he has only some more turns to go. Also Pack with a good comeback here, but okay, never mind. Pack is dead.
Yeah, unfortunate. And Kaljunia does the same as Pack, was super high, clips with his back wheels, but the reactor boost is helping him to stay on track. Anyway, this is probably not the fastest line to do. You wanna go as high as possible, but without clipping it. And yeah, Scrappy, what round by him? I mean, this could be also a very sick time by the looks of it. He only has to survive this identity once more. Yeah, that was tight. But yeah, how much will he save it? I mean, there he definitely released a tiny bit more. So Kaljunia came closer. It was over 7/10 going into the identity. But he survives it. So Scrappy takes this point. Very important for him, and a 220.3, even though he had actually lost a lot to Kaljunia in this last identity. But what a time.
How fast is that actually?
I'm not sure. I only remember that Grenady got 0.6 in all the 3 laps, 0.6, 0.7, and he was far ahead of the other OGL players there. He won all the rounds, yeah.
That's sick though. So Scrappy with his first victory, and he's now also in finals. So Pack and Muda yet to win a round here on this track, and definitely nice to see that Scrappy is putting in the effort and is challenging those players. I mean, else he would have not been in this top 4 format, of course. And currently Scrappy is in last together with Kaljunia, but Muda and Pack are not too far ahead of them. But of course they're in dire need of winning a round. Pack with an interesting line. They look at the speed there, but it's not really that much. I thought for a moment, but it's a very close round here. No one has made a mistake yet. We are about to approach the identity here, and it's dead even between the players. Muda drops a little bit behind here before that downhill, as well as I think that was actually Scrappy falling behind, and now Kaljunia, Pack and Muda are in first, second and third. But still Kaljunia leading, so he can make it again. Can he make it in 3 rounds? Kaljunia going so close there. Muda with a way better approach, and Muda goes into the lead. Bear in mind that was Muda's map pick. Very risky line there, and it's so close between them. But actually Pack, this is not a good map for him, Marius.
Yeah, I mean, he also did not really look like the very fastest in the steps here. He was just very calm, collected, and kept his points. But I think he even told us in an interview that he didn't feel that comfortable with this track. So this might be really one of his worst ones of this map pack, or the worst one. Yeah, he's still in it. I mean, Muda is, by the way, the only driver that did not win a round in this Final 4 yet. Like on the first map, he was the only one to not win. Second map was cleared by Kaljunia after 2 laps. And still Muda without a victory. But yeah, now he is the only one to deny either Kaljunia or Scrappy to end the map. And Kaljunia has now the best chances. Scrappy again with a very low execution in this wall ride. But yeah, Kaljunia has the lead over 3/10. And we know that he has the precision in these jumps. but he saw that you can catch up to him. Mother is trying it, definitely. He has to go for it. I mean, he has to full risk it.
Oh!
That was the full risk.
Oh!
If he goes left of the trees, he
no!
doesn't. It's not enough.
Oh no!
It's a shorter line to the finish possible, but I'm not sure if he had the angle for that. And if it would have even made the difference in the end, because it's 200s, so it's still a little bit of an advantage for Carl Jr. But wow, and Carl Jr. wins this round, and with that, he won his second map. With that, he is through. Carl Jr. is through into the final two once again in the grand final. GG to him.
Yeah, Carl Jr. is in the final, and the question is who's accompanying Carl Jr. But look at this map. It's actually a very good map for Scrappy, but also a very good map for Pack. He had really good rounds here, and I think we're gonna see a close fight between them. Not really sure how good Muda is doing here, but he is certainly probably very happy that he's in the top 4. It's his first appearance in a playoff, and with that ending up in a top 4 situation, he can still make it, of course. It's still a very good performance, Marius, I think. And we're gonna go... Huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming from full speed scene, yeah, and then he improved so much in all the other styles right here. That's
crazy,
sick performance.
Very admirable, I just have to say that. And we are live with the first round. It is Pack versus Scrappy, and of course Pack didn't make it into the final in the prior season, but now he wants to redeem himself. He of course has won the first map, and now we have map number 4 that is being played between those 3 players. So there is the tendency that we're gonna see a win by the time limit that can happen more likely, because clear players will push more, and they have to, as we currently see Pack being in second position. But look at the line from Pack. Look at this line, and now he's in the lead all of a sudden. That was a very good line by Pack, but still Scrappy is very, very close there.
I'm actually surprised that Scrappy didn't lose more time, because he was taking way more of a jump, and now he actually overtook Pack again. Got even a good lead here of a whole 10th at this point. And yeah, as we said already, this is a good map for both of these players. And we can also say how important it has been that Pack has won the first map, because otherwise the pressure would be really high now.
Yep.
And it was a very tight call there for him in the first map to win it. And yeah, now, however, it is a 1v1 situation against Scrappy, and the identity will decide it. Of course, this backwards in the end will decide it, and Pack looked very strong there with his no jump line. Very, very good landing. So he extends his lead. It's actually also Mother still in the race.
Oh,
he just crashed. And Pack, what is that? He will jump now. Ooh, he stumbles a bit, but he makes it. With a 2:05.6. That is not that quick of a time, not a 2:04, which we have seen already, but still enough, and great that he won the first round here. And now comes maybe the last round of this final 4.
Maybe.
No, we will continue for third, of course.
Yeah, true, but for the qualification, so yeah, all good. I gotcha, Marius, I gotcha. And yeah, Pack, I think he went for that line because he didn't have to risk it, since both Scrappy and Muda were too far away to make something happen. But of course, now Pack only has to win one more round in order to advance to the grand final, to the final 2, where he will, where Carl Jr. will await the raid boss, if you want to call him. But I think Pack has a good shot of defeating him. But of course, he didn't make it into the grand final yet. Scrappy and Muda can still make it here. And currently Scrappy is leading. I mean, it's only 4 round wins. Yeah, it isn't too hard, Marius, if you think about that. Winning 4 rounds against Pack.
Yeah, I mean, if he is able to do it now, then I wonder why he didn't do it in the season, in the steps, because then Scrappy would have maybe directly went into the top 8. But yeah, it is all a thing with pressure, and now he definitely shows that when it's just about all in, Scrappy is there. And I must say, yesterday in TeamSpeak, I was actually shit-talking about Scrappy a little bit. And
wow!
Yeah, I must say I was disappointed from him, because like in the first seasons where we used the system with the steps and with the point losses, there was basically Pack, Carl Jr., and the only challenger that they had in terms of speed, in terms of pace, was Scrappy. He was fighting for map victories, but now we don't see best laps from him, we don't see map wins from him in all the season, and also last season. So I was actually a bit disappointed that he fell back like that. Maybe he didn't really focus too much on it, I don't know. But now, today, he actually punishes me for my thinking.
Yeah.
He's really doing well. And however, this is now the last identity, maybe for Pack, and then he reaches the final 2 if he can hold.
Oh!
No, he can't. How
Marius.
much speed? Ah, no, he
He's
actually
dead.
just, yeah.
Scrappy wins this one, yeah. He can... Yeah, he will save it. Nice. That was a smart decision by Scrappy. So Scrappy with a map win, or like with a lap win here. And Pack is not through yet. So Scrappy living on the edge. But I mean, same goes a little bit for me, Marius. I mean, in all my betting, and you maybe remember like in step 2 and 3 where I said, yo, I thought that Scrappy is gonna get top 3, because I'm on your side. Scrappy is a very fast player, and I think that he is definitely able to contest them. And we can see it right now, Marius. We can see it.
Yeah, and I'm really glad to see that. I mean, because I know from these early seasons, he was the only one that really fought against Pack and Carl Jr. And now I think he didn't even have a single best lap, for example, which is already interesting because we know how many risks Scrappy also goes, and he always gets the time attack world records. But then in the matches, doesn't really work out for him, even if he's very trained.
Oh, Pack
with another question. Oh, this is very crucial now, because that could be now the victory for Scrappy on this map, and then we have a 1-1 map situation. But so far, Mada is still in it, and could maybe come to a triple final situation. This is what Pack, of course, hopes now. Pack wants, on his good map, the chance to make it through. Mada has the upper hand. Very great turnaround from him. And Pack really has to hope for Mada to win this round. Otherwise, Scrappy with a map victory, and he would tie up the score.
Exactly, he would tie up the score, and then, of course, this would put a lot of pressure onto Pack's shoulders. You said beforehand, it can be one player going through, like Carl Jr. with that 2-0. That's fine, but of course, unless one player doesn't win a map, there's no pressure, but that could be the case now. And Muda still has to win a round. If you think about that, he didn't win a round yet, and Muda is currently leading. So the Edelweiss player looking very strong here, the down under player. So I'm not sure what the time for him is, but I think it's very early in the morning for him. And Muda is in the lead, but Scrappy, of course, can full risk it in the end. Scrappy is a very risky driver. He can make it happen. Great entry into the part, but actually didn't get the best speed there. But with that, Muda is extending his lead, but Scrappy can risk the ending. Muda has to survive it. Muda is going for the turnaround, and he gets punished for that because Scrappy is sniping him there in the ending. 800th of a second, and I was seeing that this is not enough. So Muda with the wrong decision making there, and Scrappy will get it. And now it's 1-1 between Pack and Scrappy.
That is now really bad for Pack. I actually wonder if it was a good turnaround from Mada. Because I felt like, yeah, he was even after it, and maybe he will now, with the forwards driving, get more speed to the finish line, but no. And Scrappy also didn't have the direct line, but no, it wasn't enough. Scrappy overtook him, and yeah, I mean, interesting decision by Mada. Maybe he does not feel too confident with his backward, and he knew he would fuck it up, and he hopes maybe also that Scrappy doesn't get it. But yeah, interesting, because the lead was not high enough, not big enough. And now we have this very difficult situation for Pack, that one opponent is also just 2 round wins away from knocking him out. And of course, we hope to see the Pack vs Carl Jr. final. If Scrappy really has a chance to challenge Carl Jr. there, we will see, maybe. But yeah, going into this first lap, we have Mada in the lead. But yeah, as Topo pointed out, Mada did still not win a single round in this format here. And he is, of course, also now for the fight for third place already a map down.
Exactly.
Scrappy going into the lead, but not with the best exit speed here. So Mada will overtake him. Pack is also still there, but Pack, yeah, not the same Pack as we have seen in Final 9 and Final 6. It's not that consistent. He's also not that super fast so far. The map victory for him was also very close and not really that secured. Now after 4 maps, I would say it's a bit shaky for Pack right here.
Yeah, Scrappy looks stronger at the moment. I'm for Pack, but look, those lines, no. So Pack with a mistake, and with that in mind, it is Muda and Scrappy battling it out here, and they are direct opponents, and Muda is still away of his first victory here, but it's looking good. I think this is Muda's strongest map, just by my feeling here. Muda is not that bad on this track, but we will definitely see map number 5 and map number 6 that will be played if Muda wins this one. And currently he could get himself the first map victory here. He's so far ahead, he's 0.4 ahead here. He can take it a little bit more conservatively here, but Muda is just doing that, even extending his lead to 2.5 of a second. So Muda, the Ice Queen, is doing it really nice, and he's taking the first map. So great one here by Muda, but actually very important for Pack that Muda has won this round, because with that in mind, Muda can afford one more mistake that he already did here. But of course, Muda only with a 3rd position here. But Muda with his first map victory, so maybe this puts him into some sort of momentum.
Yeah, a sub 2 minutes 13 for him. Pack should be good on this track as well. He was performing on this track very, very good in the steps. So hopefully he can now show it. Of course, we see now that also Pack can show nerves, because this is now not a relaxed Pack anymore. I said after the first map that it could help him, that he can be a bit relaxed, but now he lost a few maps and he's still there. The others are catching up, and yeah, even a Pack is then starting to think about it. And this is a very difficult situation. We all know it, the situation where it's maybe going a bit, where we don't have the momentum. Yeah, every player knows the situation, and Pack currently is in that phase, and he has to fight against it, and it's not easy. We have Scrappy, however, with the early mistake, so it's only Mother close to him, but Mother, of course, is the one that could close out this map here if he wins. That is the risk, of course, for Pack.
Yeah, and I mean, if you see that it's only 10 hundredths of a second between them, between Pack and Muda here. And that part, Muda also with more speed. Where's actually Pack? Where's Pack? Pack with a mistake. Pack didn't make it, and it could actually go to map number 4. It will go to that map. No, map number 5, because Muda is more than 2 seconds ahead. That's it, Marius. We will see a map winner here. Muda is taking it. What is happening?
Oh, wow. So
Map
Mother,
number 6
maybe,
now.
maybe with a comeback, Mother. I mean, he was down, but if he gets through into the final 2 now, that would be sick. By the way, with Carl Jr. in the final 2, we can already say GG to Spam for the World Cup qualification. We didn't mention that yet. If Pack actually survives, then also Massa, if I recall correctly, would be qualified.
Yep. So, it's map number 1 again.
Yeah, that was good for Pack.
Yep, that's good for Pack here, as we have map 6 out of 6. So we might have one more round after that to decide the 3rd position, because that is definitely not set in stone yet. But Scrappy was also not too bad here, as well as Muda, and they only have to win 2 rounds. Muda was maybe a little bit lucky there in this round, because there were huge mistakes, but of course deserved victory here and a great fight here. I have to say that I didn't expect such a close final 4, especially that Pack was stumbling a little bit, but he didn't really perform that well here. So of course now he plays Slalom again, thanks to his good performance, because this is definitely his best map, and he shows us why, because Pack is already leading here. He's 0.15 ahead of Scrappy. Scrappy also not that bad on this track, as you can see. Pack with more speed though, going to that first identity. So Pack leading. Oh, but not a good identity here, a good entry into that. He's still slightly leading, but it is Muda with way more speed, and it's also Scrappy not too far behind. So Marius, we have a fight here going to that last lap.
Yeah, whoever wins this round now is only one single round victory away from the final 2, from 2,000 euros and from the chance to get the championship. And it is Pack who is now leading it, but Mother is very close. And in these ice identities, it's always when you have pressure, the ice identities are so difficult. And I mean, you would like to keep it a bit safe there, but you can't, because Mother and Scrappy, they are so close behind Pack. But this is Pack's part here, this slalom, so much risk, but I didn't see him crashing it yet, I believe. And this is great to see. But yeah, Mada still closer. Mada had a very good identity last round. So can Mada do the comeback and actually win the next round in a row, the third one?
Oh, no.
He's not making it. Pack only has to survive it. One left turn, now straightening out, not hitting the flags. And he does it. Scrappy is too far away. First point for Pack with a 2-7/15, and that is so important. But the pressure is still high, because losing now the next round would directly mean it is maybe all over. It is so much pressure for Pack.
But better this situation than someone else wins the map. So
yeah, that's definitely. I mean,
definitely, Mario. So let's go ahead into the next round, as we have Scrappy and Muda, who have yet to win a round on this track. I think Muda didn't win a round here, but Scrappy did, if I recall it correctly. And yeah, Pack is in finalists, so he only has to win one more round, and then we have maybe our final list, or a final Pack versus Call Jr., the El Clasico. But currently Scrappy is leading the round, Marius. Look at that. And Pack also not with the best amount of speed here, going to the slalom. But let's go ahead actually and follow Pack, who's more than 0.2 away here from Scrappy. But great. Actually not a good entry into that. That was looking good. But he didn't really get too much speed, so Scrappy is still leading.
Going into the identity now, Pack only on 3rd place. How much risk can he take? Actually, all 3 players get it pretty decent. Now the exit will decide. Oh, Pack has it good.
Oh,
Scrappy is with the crash. That is already 1 player down for Pack. Now there's only Mada. And Pack has the better approach here into the dirt section, but was a bit inside here, but works out. Anyway, still Mada in the front.
Yeah, exactly. Mada is leading here, and Mada needs to win this one. And then also Mada could maybe make it into the final, Marius. Imagine that. It's Mada who's really like just not cheating his way through, but also being a little bit more in a better mental state than the others. Just like getting the rounds. And now Muda is leading, but of course he still has to survive this identity. He still has to survive it, and Pack is pressing B for boost here. Look at this speed. It's only 0.1 up 300ths of a second between them. Pack with the speed, and this could be the ticket for Pack into the grand final. Muda is a little bit further behind. Pack with more speed. One more identity for Pack to make it happen. Will he accompany Cole Jr. in the grand final? Will be 2,000 euro richer. It's looking very good for Pack, and Pack with the comeback, and he is making it. Pack is through, and Muda is flipping over the finish. Pack is in the grand final together with Cole Jr., and they will battle it out for 4,000 euro.
Ooh, that was so tight. I mean, wow. And it is such nerves from Pack, going tight with Mother into the last identity and being the victorious players. I saw he had more speed, but he had a very difficult line for the chicane, a very tight line for the downhill chicane. So I really wasn't sure if he can make it through. So we see now that Carl Jr. has won the game, but who is getting 3rd place now? Because we have still, yeah, the 1 map victory for both Mother and Scrappy. So how does this continue?
Yeah, I'm just asking. Cousin was asking that as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so Call Jr. versus Pack, the El Clasico. Wow. My god, man. Thomas Cole, legend. But he didn't really play good. I have to say that. He didn't really play good on the... He was very wonky, Marius. I have to say that. He was really...
One map that saved him at the end.
Yeah.
Just one single map saved him here. Whew. And this is the advantage that he got from the seeding. Yeah, the good performances that he got in the matches before brought him the situation that he could actually put this map as first, and then this map was played twice. And yeah, thanks to his previous performances, he actually made it through.
Exactly. And maybe, I mean, on some maps he has to improve. Reversing is very good for him. Then also slalom. But I'm not sure about Arctic Split, actually. I think Arctic Split is the worst map for him. Frozen Fridges and Picycle. I think Picycle is very even. I guess we're gonna see five best of 7s there. Actually, we'll go down to the right. Pack has the chance now of taking it. So Man, so Scrappy is getting third, but why? Won a map first. Scrappy won a map first, so Scrappy is on a third position. So Scrappy, that was, I wanted to bet that, man. I wanted to bet Scrappy third, but I didn't do so. Everyone would have laughed at me, but man. That's too bad.
I mean, great performance from him. But yeah, with this rule, I mean, I wonder if this rule was stated anywhere beforehand. Because you can't just say it now after we have the situation, oh yeah, we do it like this. I hope it was already cleared beforehand. Because otherwise, I would also feel bad for Mother. Yeah,
Exactly.
He also won a map now, and it is basically even. Yeah, usually there should have been another map now, and they play it out against each other.
Yeah, would be a bit easier, right?
Yep.
For third place on Sunday. No, there's no third place match. Let's go ahead on the server, final 2 server. Cannot find the server. Alright.
Doesn't work yet.
Okay, guys, I have to pee. I'll be right back. I will be right back.
Alright. So, what do you think, guys? Who will take it? Pack or Carl Jr.? Carl Jr., of course, won so far all the time this TMGL thing, and he can do it another time. But Pack is so strong in the season. He was shaky this match, but he waited through, and now it is a new situation. It's like a restart, a reboot. So Pack can now fully focus on Carl Jr., fully focus on this final match. And I think we will see a great match because both players know each other. Both players are usually delivering when it matters, are driving their best in the grand final. This is how we are used to see it, and I really look forward to that match. Usually you would say these 1v1s can be very boring, but with this new format, that an early crash will make the round over very soon after 3 CPs. That of course helps. But I think that both players will actually show us a very good match now. Let's try to join the server again. It does work now, okay. So Pack is already there, Carl Jr. should come soon. So before it was the case that Pack was only driving his 2 or 3 rounds and then he was through. Now he actually took much longer and he played a lot. So now we can say he is also warmed up for the grand final. And Carl Jr. was the one who was relatively early through and had to wait now a few maps until the match was over.
Hello.
Hi, the server is there.
Okay. Wait, Carl and Pack already agreed to make 50-50. Well, not sure about that.
The interesting thing is, that Pack has gotten exactly the same prize money as Carl Jr. in the group stage with the 6 steps, because Carl Jr. has won it, but Pack had so many map wins that it exactly evened out in terms of prize money.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was 2,500 or something, right? Okay, so we have the map order. Reversing, picked by Carl. Interesting. Arctic, picked by Pack. Arctic split. Okay. So they're picking, I think, their weak maps at first. Then Slalom by Carl. Bicycle by Pack. And Frozen Fridges will be the decider. Interesting map picks, though. What can you think about that, Marius? I mean, why do you think that Carl picked the map that was best for Pack at first, or what do you think is the goal behind that?
Yeah, often a match is decided by momentum as well. Now you could of course think you put your best maps to the end, because you know that, yeah, if I have my battle maps are still up to come, so even if the match starts bad, so basically you have nothing to lose at the beginning. You can just go into it, yeah. And if you have the worst situation and you actually lose, you always have in your mind, yeah, but then comes my good map. And then I can catch up, and if I win then twice in a row, for example, and from a 0-2 to a 2-2, then I have the momentum for the last map. You could think about something like that. But of course it also, imagine you are 0-2 down, and even then, your best map comes up, you will have so much pressure, it can also kill you at that point. So it's absolutely unclear. It is very momentum based in the end, and these two players are so close together in all the maps that it is not clear who wins the map, so it could go either way anyway, so we don't know what will happen. But yeah, that might be the thing from the players.
Yeah, it might be, and this explains why Carl Jr. picked one of the best maps, or the best maps for Pack. And actually, now the format works like that. We play every of those 5 maps that are in this map pool, and we play 7 rounds of them in total at maximum. You have to win 4 rounds in order to win a map, right? So it could go down to 7 rounds. It could also be a 4-round win for a player. But we're just gonna wait until we're gonna start here, as Pack just left the server. So not sure what he did. But,
yeah, Carl Jr. is also not here yet.
Okay. So 3 to be finalists, 4 to win. That's how.
Limit 3. Where do you see that, SGE?
You have to win 3 maps, and you win 4 rounds on those tracks.
Ah, yeah.
Point limit is 4.
So both players are on the server.
But I'm not sure why it's here saying point limit is 3, but point limit is 4. And you have to win 3 maps, okay?
Exactly. You have to win 3 maps, and you win a map by winning 4 rounds on it.
Yeah.
So is it starting now? I think yes, because nowhere it shows
I'm
warm
not
up.
sure.
I would say it's like...
I think also it's live, so... I mean, it's the grand final, Marius, and our player is here. So again, 2 lappers will be played. You need 4 victories, and Carl Jr. gets the better start. So I think we're gonna see a lot of... like DNF rounds by the players, where there's just 1 or just maybe 2 second plus rounds, because if you make a mistake, it's already over, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. 1 mistake and the round is directly over, but thanks to the new system, we don't have to wait until 1 player finishes then the 2 laps, which is great. But I think that, I mean, Carl Jr. is a very consistent player. I don't think that he will crash often. And I think, again, the first rounds, both players will maybe try for a bit more conservative to get into the match, and in that moment, Pack actually touches the inside, and this might be already the first round here. He's over 2 seconds behind. If Carl Jr. doesn't make a mistake right here, he will knock out Pack, and that is also the case. So the first victory goes to Carl Jr. Right when I said that, I think that both players will start a bit conservative and safe, like if it was a 6-lapper to get into the groove, but then Pack had a slight touch and the round was directly over.
Yeah, Pack had a really good line there, actually. Pack had a really, really good line. And Carl Jr. was capitalizing from a mistake from Pack. But of course, a mistake can happen as we go into the next round here. Round number 2 it is. And let's go ahead and see what Pack can do, as he makes not the best start here. I think he has clipped a bit. So Pack again, I mean, it's one of his best maps. And maybe that was the strategy for Carl Jr. to pick one of his best maps in order to, like catch him off guard, you know? Catch him a little bit off guard. But, yeah, Pack didn't win this map. You have to say that Scrappy was winning this year on that Final 4. But now Pack versus Carl Jr. here in that battle. Pack again comes back strong here on this section yet again. And now it is Carl Jr. who is currently leading. Pack jumping to Narnia there, but actually gets it quite good. Good exit speed here from Pack, so a different line has been chosen by him, but still it's very equal between Pack and Carl Jr. Pack is leading though, and Pack gets a really good turnaround. Look how close he went there to the wall, and Pack is leading here 800 of a second going into lap number 2.
Yeah, we often see him in the identity to overtake the others in the turnaround. He gets that very good, and he's also consistent now with getting the turnaround at all. But yeah, in this little transition here, Carl Jr. gets less airtime. It's a weird transition, I must say. I also don't really understand how it works, but if you can be too low there. But Carl Jr. gets this definitely much better. But yeah, overall, I must say, Carl Jr. never really looked too strong on this track. Definitely should be his weaker map, and Pack should be the favorite, but it is always difficult if you start off with your best map, because you have to get into the match and then you directly have a map that you have to win. But yeah, Pack now has the slight advantage.
Wow.
And the ending will decide very good entrance into the identity, but the backwards will decide. Can Pack keep it all together? He goes very wide there. He keeps the grip. Nicely done. Well done. And this is a 205.5. Slotted time could be still a bit faster, but very great. And Carl Jr. 3/10 behind. So we have a 1-1 situation. Usually 1v1s are always starting with a 1-1 score.
Exactly, actually. I mean, usually it's a back and forth, but someone can also like clean sweep it here. But it's Pack taking that one here. 1-1 is the scoreline. Definitely a very, very clean ending. I think Carl Jr. cannot really do this ending that well compared towards Pack, but Pack has the upper hand. But again, this transition here, now Pack did it actually pretty good. You were pointing it out. This jump is definitely really weird because you come from a little bit of an elevated underground and jump to a flat section, so that's why it's hard to get. But Pack is currently leading, also gets a better line here, so Carl Jr. really wonky approach there, but now this line was really good for Pack all the time, going so close there to the wall. Look at that, and now the drift here, the small hairpin, let's say it like that, where you also want to accumulate a lot of speed to jump over this ice bubble that was standing on the right. Pack is doing that one good. Both with similar approaches, but Pack landing a bit better, but a little bit too far outside. But look at the SD. Not that good actually for Pack. He lost a little bit of time there, but Carl Jr. is still not that far ahead. Only 600 of a second. Pack, look at the turnaround. Also very nicely executed from both of them, but still, again, Marius, a very close fight here going into that second lap.
Yeah, Carl Jr. with the 110 of a lead, and then with the crush. And this could be it if Pack now saves it. He has to recognize it, and then he will knock out Carl Jr., who is now far behind, of course, 5 seconds. And yeah, this is it. Important point for Pack. He goes into the lead 2-1. And he has to win 2 more.
Yep.
Does he? Because there is point limit 3 in the top.
Until you get finals, I think. That makes sense, because at Cup mode also the point limit is 100, and then you are finalists, you know?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so next round starting, and we have Pack versus Carl Jr., of course. Pack going with more speed out of this corner into the lead, down this transition, and Carl Jr. is catching up again. It's a very similar scenario in many laps here. So that is also nice to see when you have really good players playing against each other. You really can see where the one player is a bit stronger than the other. And it is very consistent over many rounds. It is not a random thing anymore. You definitely know beforehand, yeah, this player is in this section a tiny bit better and the other player here, because they are so consistent in their speed as well in every single round. So we know now, going into the identity, that the exit of the identity is usually Pack's favorite part, and this time also in the entrance, Carl Jr. actually messes it up a bit, and that's of course helping Pack a lot. And now comes the exit, and Pack gets it decent again, and has now a lead of 4/10.
And that
is tight.
That's a very important round for Pack here. It is a tremendous round. He can afford one mistake after that, and then he would have not even been pressurized by Carl Jr. So 3-1, extending the lead to 2 points. And I mean, you can really see that the momentum was there for Carl Jr. on that first... oh my god. No, Pack. No. That round was so important. And Carl Jr. has it. Pack with the DNF. And... yeah, now the score is 2-2, Marius, and it can be over so quick, actually. So Carl Jr. has this round, and let's take a look who's getting finalists here in this particular round, because we will definitely see a winner here. The question is, who will it be? Pack with 2, yeah, terrible mistakes here that actually would have not happened to him in a step or something. So you can definitely see that pressure is kicking in, Marius.
Yeah, that was definitely not a normal mistake, not something that we would usually see. That's correct, because this is very avoidable. You have so much time to line up your car for this chicane, and he had a very normal line going into it, and then he just went too close for a split second. But was that a mistake by Kochi? Yeah, he lost some time. So how much is he behind? I think not 2 seconds is the gap. I think it's 1.5 until you start knocking out other players. But this is still far away from it. So we have 8/10 here between Pack and Carl Jr. But if Pack manages to realize that, then he can, of course, save it already a little bit. Maybe also in that upcoming turnaround. Not risking that you don't turn around at all if you steer too early. But yeah, well done by him, and he keeps his lead here, 8/10.
Yeah, I mean, this could have also been the GG here on this first track for Pack, and he could have gone into the lead. But with that in mind, it is Pack actually who still needs to win the finalist mode. So you gain 1 point, and at 3 points you activate the finalist mode. So the same as in the other format, or just in normal cup mode. This time not making the mistake in this small slalom there. So Pack is leading, and he is losing it a little bit, 0.1 of a second. But it's still enough here to stay ahead of Carl Jr. This section was usually very strong for Pack, and he does it really good again, accumulates a lot of speed. So let's go ahead here into Pack's POV. He's 0.68 ahead, and he can maybe, I'm not sure if it's enough to save this identity, Marius, but maybe he can go for the jump. But of course he still has to survive this ending, and it's not safe, because this ending is not that easy. But Pack is going for that one, and Pack survives it. What a madman. But also Carl Jr. does it really good here, comes closer. So maybe Pack was like accelerating or something to slow down a bit. But a 2:05 for Pack, and now Pack is in finalist mode, and one more map, or one more win to win the map.
Yeah, very low 2:05. Great time by Pack. But I remember the first stage he was doing the 2:04s on this map. But yeah, 2:05.0. Basically nobody actually was ever matching that today, these times. So very well performed by him, and this is now the chance to close out the swap. But again, in this transition, Carl Jr. drives him a little bit away. Very, very good turn there, however, for Pack. Now the chicane where he crashed last time around. He has a good exit, good angle here for this right drift. And yeah, Carl Jr. of course will stay in the lead, but Pack came a little bit closer. So now going into that important right drift here, but both players are getting it so decent.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they jump into the ramp here, into the backward section. Greatly done by Pack. He has lots of exit speed. He avoids the airtime. He overtakes Carl Jr. Now comes the turnaround for Pack. And this is the part that he really gets so decent. I think after he lost the stop, after he lost a step on that part, he actually trained it hard to make it never happen again.
And I think this is why this is one of the best maps from Pack. But this jump, this transition here is so nice from Carl Jr. But maybe Pack is going for that speed, because he comes back after that very quickly, just with a better line and a better trajectory here. And of course now Pack is a little bit further behind, but he usually comes back here in this tech section and in this grass transition here that is really good for Pack. So let's take a look here. It's only 700s between Pack and Carl Jr. Pack can make it happen here. He has nothing to lose there, but Carl Jr. has to be in first position. Great speed for him. But of course, this entry into the identity is really decisive here. Pack jumps super far up. Carl Jr. with an earlier landing though. But it is Pack still in the, not in the lead, but Carl Jr. with a mistake there on the inside, risking it, and Pack is more than 2 seconds ahead by the looks of it. And Pack has it. Pack wins the first.
He didn't know about Carl Jr. He didn't know.
Whew. This could have gone.
I was afraid of that to happen, because he probably looked maybe at his interface, at his lead, going into the identity, but then he probably focused on the identity itself and did not realize that Carl Jr. crashed, and it was also not possible to knock him out before the finish. And I mean, if Pack would have realized it, he would have just turned around his car. Yeah, he did not know. And luckily, he was not falling off, because after crashing, you could think, oh, this is it, I lost it. And then directly make the wrong decision, and giving it up in your head mentally. But no, he finished it and he gets the map win, and this is the 1-0 for Pack.
Yeah, so Pack is leading here, and Arctic Split is the next map. And this is a map that is not good for Pack, I can tell you that. We have no warm-up actually beforehand, by the looks of it.
Interesting.
And it was actually the pick by Pack, but I think it was the pick by him to just get this map out of the way, because he doesn't like this map at all. So can you actually understand that? Because I would, like, as a normal thinking, I would put it as map number 5 actually, if I don't really like a map. I don't know. Or would you just like say, okay, let's play my worst map to get it all the way, and then...
Yeah, but it's map 5. Then you have the pressure that you have to close it out. You have to win 3 out of the first 4 maps. Yeah, because true. You have this negative thinking that if it goes to map 5, then you might lose it. Yeah,
and Peck is dead already.
But this might be the reason you don't want to first. That is so important, because Pack is now not over 1.5 seconds behind. So he is still in the round, he is still far behind Carl Jr., of course.
Look at the speed!
Carl Jr. had a bad isolate due to his bad speed before. Wow, that cost so much time, wow. The first round in this final, where both players actually make mistakes and the round did not end. It just continues, and both players, with bad runs, basically, but one of them will win the point.
Yeah, and this is so important here for Pack to take this one. I mean, he has to win 4 rounds, but getting the momentum really on this map, which is not one of his best tracks, he said that beforehand, is so important, and definitely says to Carl Jr., yo, I'm here. I also make mistakes, but I will just win it, you know? I'll just win it, and Pack currently is leading. So Pack is leading, and he has a good gap here of 0.3 of a second, kind of. Okay, make it 0.30 now. What is that speed from Carl Jr. by the looks of it? Carl Jr. is pressing B for boost here. Goes into the lead. Pack with a little bit more speed though. Goes for a later release, and now this is all in the ending. Who's getting that better ending trajectory? Is it Carl Jr. or Pack? Pack with the risk, and Pack has more speed. Pack with the inside approach, but he clips, and Pack is not taking it. But still a great round here, but it's not enough here for Carl Jr. to take it, for Pack to take it.
Yeah, this reminded me of the battle between those two players when this map was played for the first time in the steps. I mean, Pack had a lot of points in his back. Carl Jr., of course, also some points. But there they were also going very tight into the last lap identity. And Carl Jr. won it there as well. But yeah, this time, I mean, Pack had to risk it. He had to go so inside. Almost he made it and got this point. But of course, it was a great opportunity to win, because Carl Jr. had this mistake. Sadly, Pack crashed already before, and yeah, this is the reason why Carl Jr. was getting it in the end as well. But going into this round, we have Pack now in the lead. Great start for him, and Carl Jr. already 3/10 down. Has a bit more exit speed, however. He went higher in that reactor boost section, so it goes down to 2/10, but that's still a decent lead here. Now going into the identity, Carl Jr. had lots of speed here in the previous run. Good exit again, 1600s between both players. And now the identity, Pack with a little two-wheeler, but gets it very good. Carl Jr. of course as well. These players actually full risking it there, full sending it. Oh, Carl Jr. with a mistake. And now Pack has to realize it and just not crashing the ice.
Nice ice slide here from Pack, and Pack will eventually take it. Carl Jr. is so far behind here. Only one more CP that he has to pass, and this is a very important round here for Pack. He will take it, and he will be certainly very happy about that. Nice to see that Pack is taking the second round here. But we can see so many mistakes here, Marius. We are seeing so many mistakes, and it is Pack tying up the scoreboard again. So as you said, it's looking very good for him. Or like just a 1v1 start. It is... yeah, again, always a tight score, but Pack now almost with a mistake. They're very bad start for him, and already 0.24 behind. 0.24 per second behind Carl Jr. But yeah, it's nothing set in stone here, because this track is certainly not that easy. But again, the Pack with a wonky start. And Carl Jr. definitely shows us why he is the 3 times world champion, but also Pack, that he can make something happen. He of course also won a world championship, and currently only 0.3, so Pack is coming a bit closer here by the looks of it. So nothing is set in stone here, even though it seems like a lot, but one mistake in this identity and you are really down. You can really just hope that the other person is getting a similar bad line, as we're gonna go into that here. You really have to align your car up perfectly. Pack is doing it really good here, getting equal speed than Carl Jr. Also here, this one looks really good for Carl Jr. and both Pack, but yeah, nothing is really happening. Pack is coming a bit closer also in this section, but it's still 0.3 of a second, and we have one more lap here, Marius, and now the ice is really important.
Yeah, all the distance came basically from the ice. Yeah, that was very tight line by Pack, but he keeps it all together. He stays on track. But yeah, all the distance that he has was basically done in the ice turn in the first lap. And we saw that so often on this map that some people already were far behind. I think going with that low speed from the start into the very first ice drift, you can easily fail it, not make a jump at all, but you can also just get a bad ice slide. Actually, these players stumbled with this section a lot. I mean, also in the OGL finals, I saw that everywhere, that some players were already early on far behind, and this is exactly the reason why Pack is still behind. These 3 tenths were all in the start, but other than that, the round is dead even. But this was a mistake by Pack. He went onto the penalty crest, and that did cost him now a lot of time. So 8/10, he can only hope for a mistake from Carl Jr., but I've never seen Carl Jr. crash here in this identity. He is so precise. I mean, also in the Serrator Cups, where you have a lot of obstacles, in the precise parts, Carl Jr. is always delivering. He's so good there. I mean, this is also a very good identity for Chem 3 players, and Carl Jr. of course plays with Chem 3, same for Grenady, and this is reason also why these players are really performing so well in this identity.
Exactly, so a great performance there from Carl Jr. and actually he has made a mistake in this identity in that second round, but still, I mean, yeah, it's rare to see that happen, but now Pack not with a bad start and currently in the battle, but still Carl Jr. is in the lead, but actually Pack doesn't look too slow on this track. He's just very inconsistent. But even with that in mind, he can still win 2 or 3 rounds and maybe even claim that map victory. Who knows, who knows? But of course, now he needs to win this round because it is Carl Jr. who will get himself up into the finalist mode if he wins this round. And currently it's looking really good for the Canadian, for the Solary player. He's put 24 ahead of Pack. But of course, the identity, you can risk it there a lot. But it's a very precise identity. So actually identity that is good for both players because both are very precise, but of course Carl Jr. I would say a little bit more precise than Pack, but we're gonna see here. As you can see, Pack not with a good approach there, loses it a little bit and touches the booster and not making the jump, so that's the GG here, and Carl Jr. takes round number 3 as well. So that is 1, 2, and then checkpoint number 3, so not even have to cross the ice. And yeah, that's the GG here. And the next round for Team Solary, aka for Carl Jr. And with that, he's finalist, Marius.
Yeah, he was favorite on this track and he delivers. I mean, Pack had his chances. He could have won the first round, of course. And then it would be a 2-2 situation after these 4 rounds. But now it looks very confidently for Carl Jr. Only needs to clear 1 more round. Pack, however, if he wants to win this map, he wins to beat Carl Jr. now 3 times in a row. But always this exit, this little left drift, with the awful speed that you have going into it, Carl Jr. gets it very nicely with this exit going into the wall right. So it's always a part where Pack already gets some distance. Here they are usually very even. I mean, many different lines are working out here. Always close with that tree, but some players can overjump it when they go high in the wall. Then it's not that difficult anymore. So still a 10th, which came basically from the start, from the turn after the ice. Carl Jr. again with a great part here with the wall ride, winning some slightly few hundreds. And always Carl Jr. gets the inside line after the first jump.
Oh!
He actually makes a mistake here in the identity, and this is over 1.5 seconds of a lead for Pack. So he will knock Carl Jr. out.
Yeah.
Starting now.
He needs
the ice party to get. This looks good, and he wins the second round.
Very important round here for him, and that's the next round for Pack. And I mean, this could go either way, but you can see it's a high pressure situation for the players. But now the score is 2-3, and imagine Pack winning this track, Marius. That would be huge for Pack, actually, and it could happen. It's only 2 victories. Same with the final 4 or final 8 mode, something like that. It's only 2 victories in that case, compared also to that where Scrappy was winning. You know, it can happen. It can happen. Of course, he cannot afford a mistake, but Pack with a beautiful start here. Carl Jr. is stumbling, 0.38, and actually I didn't think that this will go to a 3-2. I was thinking, okay, Carl Jr. is winning this 4-1, you know? I was thinking something like that, but Pack is showing why he's one of the best players of all time and is already half a second ahead, Marius. That is really cool to see. Pack can tie up the score here, and this is definitely worth the shot for him. He has the chance now, he has to use it. It's do or die, and with that he has a tremendous lead to work with. 2-0. This would be incredible for Pack, I have to say that, and he comes closer and closer to the 4,000 euro. Carl Jr. not with the best line there by the looks of it. Pack not making a mistake here, so he is again extending his lead to 0.6 of a second. Pack with a very good identity. Oh my god, jumping so close to the right there, but is able to stay alive here. But is Carl Jr. coming a bit closer. Carl Jr. not with the best ice slide, won't get the best exit speed here, as you can see, not landing flat. And with that, Pack is even extending his lead even more, Marius.
Yeah, I mean, how can you win 3 rounds in a row? Usually that's the thing. Carl Jr. had a safe lead in the previous round and then made a mistake. So this puts a bit of pressure on him. And now Pack is actually driving a good round. He only needs this 1 good round out of the 3 so that he wins again. And then he doesn't even need the perfect round maybe next lap, because now the pressure is so big for Carl Jr. and the momentum is on Pack's side. It only needed 1 given away opportunity from Carl Jr. and now 1 good lap from Pack. And this is how Trackmania can go. It's very momentum based, and only 1 identity is away from Pack actually tying up the score. But if he fails it, then Carl Jr. Pack this time with the tighter line. If Pack fails it, then the map is over, but Pack only 1 jump away from it. Can he make it? He saves it. He goes more to the release button. Release button, yeah. Away from the acceleration to clear it, and yeah, a 2:20.4 is a really good time. And look how much Carl Jr. has caught up, and still Pack has gotten that time. His first lap was just so strong.
Oh my god, now it's going down to the wire. It's finalist versus finalist, and I would have not expected here Pack being finalist on this track. Doesn't really get a good start by the first look, but actually it was quite good. It was the similar start compared to the round where he really lost a lot of time and Carl Jr. was just marching away. But actually Pack with a rather conservative line, as you just said beforehand, and now the momentum is on his side. Carl Jr. knows that he has to win this map because he picked, he didn't pick it, but he knows that Pack is not good on this one, and now it's a close battle. Pack, of course, it's time to shine now, and Pack is leading the round. He's 700s ahead. This is a comeback. This could be the comeback. He was 3-1 behind, and now it's 3-3, so he could win 3 rounds in a row, as Marius pointed out beforehand. So now into the first identity we go. It is Pack versus Carl Jr. Pack with a more of a slide, so you will have little speed by the first look, but it's actually dead even. It's even to the 100th of a second. Pack, however, with the release and with a mistake, and Carl Jr. should know that, or if he makes a mistake as well, but no, Pack will make that mistake there, and he's more than 1 second behind, but he's still not out on that. He is still not out. It is not over, Marius.
Yeah, this is the important thing, that he did not lose more time, he did not fully crash. So if Carl Jr. makes a mistake, Pack can still win this, but Carl Jr. is experienced. He does know now that he has this lead. And yeah, there's always now the question, should Carl Jr. risk it to put it over 1.5 seconds, but he's too far away from that. He will probably take it safe now and go for some more conservative lines. So we see that Pack is catching up. Pack, of course, has nothing else to do than just full risk. But Carl Jr. is experienced. He can exactly control that lead, that gap. Like you see it in Formula 1 with Hamilton and Bottas, always, yeah, they have a look at the guy behind and just control their speed. And yeah, Carl Jr. still with the 8/10 gap, but of course these 3 jumps, the fingers will be itchy, they will be shaking, because this is such a tight pressure situation. But Carl Jr. clears the first one, clears the second one. He has one more to go. One more. Can he do that? He does. If he didn't, then this would have been the final. That would have decided the final, even if it was just the second map win for Pack. But now Carl Jr. actually cleared this map. It was a bit tighter than he wanted, but in the end, it only matters who won the map, and that is Carl Jr. So we have the expected 1-1 after 2 maps.
Yeah, but definitely a very, very wonky map too for both players. We have seen a lot of mistakes actually from them, but
it's just one of the most difficult tracks, I would say.
Yeah, but look, now we have the track here, Slalom, and I think that's the best map for Pack, and yeah, I think actually that Pack can win this one, maybe even with a 4-0. I don't know, but we're gonna go into the first round, no warm-up. So also now, the question is who can focus the longest? That's also a very important question here that comes up to my mind, since they play non-stop, you know? They play till 2.5 hours, even more, but also the adrenaline is kicking in, of course. Since it's a pressure situation. It's for 4,000 euro, but this map is good for Pack. This map is really good for him, and this could be the 2-1 for him. So let's actually go into the first round here and see that Pack is leading the race here ahead of Carl Jr. Pack gets a good line here as well. A little bit similar speed for both of them, only 1 car length between them, 200ths of a second, but Pack with a very good line there, goes for the late release in order to get himself the outside approach and more speed. You can see it here now, Pack with way more speed into that freewheel section, and now the identity is very greatly done by Carl Jr. Pack slides out and Pack is dead, but the good thing is that he is not 1.5 seconds behind and force one more identity.
Yeah, but of course now a similar situation than previous round on the last map. Carl Jr. sees now that he has the lead of 6/10 and can play with that. Also Pack going wide here a little bit. I mean, of course, I think they are just warmed up now because both players had their breaks as well from the matches before.
The whole Pack is
now
dead.
Now he's definitely dead. This will be over 1.5 seconds, I'm pretty sure. 1.7. And Carl Jr. goes here into the next CP. And now one more to go after the reactor boost. And there we go. So first point goes to Carl Jr. on a good map for Pack. But he already had another mistake, so good that he did 2 mistakes in 1 round. Hopefully now no mistakes in the next one.
Yeah, hopefully no mistakes on the next round here for Pack. Carl Jr. gets that, so that is cool for him. But of course, it's 4 points that you have to get in order to make it or to win this map, and then there's still 1 more map after that that you have to win. So it's a best of 5, and we have a close start here for Pack and Carl Jr., where Carl Jr. has the upper hand. So Carl Jr. looks really strong on this map as well. We have also seen that in the best of 4, that Carl Jr. can play it very well here, but he wasn't really having a saying against Pack, who was really good on this track. He's very good. He won every match, every sub match Pack won on this track. So this is definitely a track that suits him really well. And currently he's leading with a 0.10 of a second gap. 0.14, he has also more speed going into the freewheel, so Pack just has to survive the identity. And he will do so. Nice identity here from Pack, has more speed than Carl Jr. and also the better angle. So Pack is leading here going to that second lap. Oh, but going so close there to the flag and almost hitting the right there. But Pack is leading here, but ever so slightly, 900ths of a second.
Yeah, that was tight on the right side, but he survived it and he stays in the lead. But very good lap, I think, by both players. I think they are on a great time here. In this situation, in this slalom part here, Pack got a bigger lead, but goes very wide on the crest corner, so Carl Jr. catches up to him. It's again a 10th now between both players. In this third turn here, I saw Pack today often actually losing a bit of time. That was not his best part, but here we know that he is very strong, but this time around both players get it even. And also this exit here, very strong part from Carl Jr. and Pack. Both players were always gaining a lot of time there to others. But yeah, Pack remains in lead. Again, these 900s, we saw them so often. Oh, this time Carl Jr. sliding it out. And again and again. And what kind of time is Pack actually driving into the finish? It is a 2:06.7.
Jesus, that is pretty rapid, I would say. That's pretty fast. So
Yeah, I believe so.
Pack is tying up the score again, so that is very important. And also taking the momentum. Carl Jr. has made that mistake in that second round, while Pack has made that mistake in that first round. And of course, now Pack has the momentum on his side. He shows Carl Jr., yo, I can drive that time, maybe even beating your PB. I'm not sure what Carl Jr.'s PB is, but I think it's faster than that. But of course, Pack has the momentum now.
Yeah, and he is in the lead again, going away from the start, but of course just a tiny lead of 500s. Very tight line from Carl Jr., less exit speed, but overall similar. And then we see what I meant. Pack often struggled a bit with the entry into this third part, so he falls down a tiny bit, but now he crashes. He actually crashes, and he gives away a second round already to Carl Jr. thanks to mistakes, which is of course not good. We have over 1.5 seconds of a gap, and Carl Jr. closes it out before the identity already. He could actually also full speed into that CP there at the identity if that was close with 1.5, and you could actually think about something like that.
I would actually do that, to say the least, because that is just... Imagine both players doing that, and then you just have to respawn.
Yeah.
That would be actually such a cool move, like both players going for that, but of course that is such a rare situation. And also hello to Granadi, hello. So Granadi was also playing yesterday, so congratulations also here on that official stream to you, and good luck on next Sunday, because Granadi will play next Sunday. But now of course it is Pack versus Carl Jr. It is the final, the grand final here. It's 4,000 euro on stake, and currently Pack is leading this round. As you can see, he's leading it, but goes so close to the right. But look at the speed that he has accumulated there. He is not extending his lead because both had similar speed. But this part is so hard to do. This track is not easy, I can tell you that, especially this identity. It looks so easy, but you have to get the best, the perfect speed, and then also good eyesight. But Pack is dead again. This is not good. Pack with a mistake, and Carl Jr. with that up into the map point, Marius.
I mean, I think in the next round now, Pack will definitely release a bit more going into the identity. But this is now, of course, the chance for Carl Jr. to overtake him there just by pace. If Pack starts saving it maybe a bit, but I mean, he won always on this map, and we didn't see the sliding out mistake from him so far. And now he did it two times already in just 4 rounds. And this is now a super bad situation for him. All the pressure's now on him. He can make the comeback because we know he's strong here, but one more mistake and it's over and out. And I think Carl Jr. is that experienced type of guy who uses exactly this chance. He's just waiting for that to happen, and then he snipes it. And this is why he is always the champion. But yeah, now he has, of course, Pack as an opponent, and Pack is, of course, someone who can fight against that and maybe still win it. And if he makes the comeback here, then he has the momentum. That could actually break Carl Jr. That is the only way to break Carl Jr., I think. And yeah, first round, Pack now not with a mistake, and actually with very good exit, he takes Carl Jr. Important that he goes into the lead here.
Yeah, but he was sliding a little bit because he had a little bit of an off angle, so he lost a little bit of speed there. So it's very equal between them. But of course, this round is the round to take. Carl Jr. has the momentum on the side, as you said, and he's a very hard nut to crack in the Trackmania scene. But of course, it is not over and out yet, as Pack goes for a very aggressive line. Carl Jr. with the more outside approach, and therefore had to steer less. So he has more speed here to work with. Into the dirt we go, but the dirt is not the strongest here for Pack. But still, it's very equal between them. The identity will decide, and this is a very important identity for Pack. Pack didn't lose this track thus far. He was always winning it. And now Pack has more speed, but with a mistake. No, this is terrible for Pack. But Carl Jr. still has to do this identity because it's not 1.5 seconds yet. So Carl Jr. has to survive it, but of course he's experienced enough to just save it. And Carl Jr. will actually take it, Marius. Carl Jr. will win slalom. Oh no.
What a bad timing for Pack to lose this map for the first time. And this is exactly, I mean, we were thinking about a 2-2 map situation in the end, and that we have a final map deciding it, a 5th map deciding it. But now, this final deciding map was already being played now. Carl Jr. winning this, a map that Pack should have won. And now Pack has to win the other 2 maps, and they are definitely suiting Carl Jr. better than this one here. So perfectly executed by Carl Jr. taking this map victory. Of course, it was a bit gifted in many rounds by Pack, but Carl Jr. of course also put the pressure on Pack, because Carl Jr. was always close when they went into the identity. But now we start on the next map, and we know that Carl Jr. is good here. So is this the last map that we see, or can Pack beat him?
Yeah, that's the question we about to be answered in a
Risky.
minute. Pack is not in the final at the moment. He is somewhere else. He is really losing it, and you can see it how fast it can go. Carl Jr., as you said, Carl Jr. is the strongest by just performing like that, and Carl Jr. wins the first round. This is how quickly it can go. 30 seconds and Carl Jr. wins by KO, and that's a face slap for Pack. That is an absolute face slap here, and Carl Jr., this could be the last map, Marius, as you said. It could be the last map.
Hopefully it isn't, but Pack definitely has to find his momentum again. I mean, it wasn't even close on the last map. Yeah, he lost. He won, I think, only 1 single round and lost 4. So that is not close. That was a very clear thing. So the last round wins were a bit longer ago already for him, and now he has to make it. So go Pack. It's 1/10 between both players. Carl Jr. again with a better start, and we know that Carl Jr. has very good identities here, but he stumbled sometimes a bit in this section. This time, however, they are equal. We know that Pack has crashed the upcoming jump, so that is a part we have to watch out for. He was jumping too far left once, and then in the next one he jumped against a tree. This time he gets it decently, very good. Carl Jr. actually was having to release a little bit, so Pack takes over the lead, but we know now comes the identity. Carl Jr. was always very strong here, especially in the first part of the identity.
Wow.
Yeah, he catches up. Pack didn't have it perfect. He was a bit angled, I think, for some time. But now the very important freewheel part, and Pack gets it decent.
Yeah, Pack gets it really good, and it's now 0.2 ahead. So hopefully that Pack can win this round, because the first round went over so quick, and that's just how it happens. If you make a mistake on this track, it will be over very, very quick, as Carl Jr. goes for the attack here for that inside line. So Pack is not safe yet. It's 0.1 of a second, make it 0.06 now. So Carl Jr. is pushing it here, and he wants to take it. There's only 3 more victories for Carl Jr. to win this one here, but of course Pack is standing with a face against the wall. He has to win it here in order to make it happen. He just lost his best map, and it's do or die. Pack goes for, again, a very low jump there, and actually this line could win Pack this map here. Look at that, how much he's gaining with that. Even 0.2 of a second Pack is gaining with that. But now Carl Jr. again with more speed, and the identity will decide it. It is Pack who's leading though, but also getting a better amount of speed here. It's so close. The ending will decide it. Is Pack or Carl Jr. taking it here? Pack is doing it angled, but it's so close. Carl Jr. has more speed. Pack or Carl Jr. It's Pack in the lead. What was that for a round? 100th of a second. Even though Carl Jr. did the better lap, it is Pack winning it here and tying up the score.
2 minutes 18.93. Can anyone in the chat say if that's a good time? I believe it is. I mean, that was such a sick round. There were barely any big gaps between the 2 players. What a round. Like, we saw that Carl Jr. is so good in the identity. Caught up, just 100 was missing. It couldn't be any closer there. And very important round. If Carl Jr. had won that round, I think it would be game over. But now it's at least a 1-1. But we see how hard Pack has to fight to win a single round here. How hard he has to fight in order to beat Carl Jr. And can he do that all the rounds again and again? It will be very tough. I think Carl Jr. looks so consistent on it, so stable. And for Pack, it is like a full risk, I believe, to actually beat him there. So luckily he has got it by 100, but Carl Jr. looks to be the more stable guy. He is now in front. Pack, however, with his low jump, catching up, but only a slightly little bit. Taking bit angle for this left and right, but Carl Jr. has the lead. 1900s and maybe bigger after the identity. Let's have a look. 2500s. And yeah, this looks similar. 25 around, yeah, 20. So good end of the identity for Pack. Full risk.
Yeah, full risk for Pack, and not even being so far behind. So with that low jump and also with a good section here, he can make something happen. But of course, Carl Jr. is not slowing down, and he said it. It's a very hard player to beat if he has gotten himself that momentum. So currently, Carl Jr. is 0.2 away, and Pack with a mistake. And this is not good for Pack here. He has to go for the safe way, but he's just continued driving. And yeah, it is Carl Jr. who is dead. Who's not dead, he's in dead first. So in a positive way, but of course negative for us, for MnM Gaming. And Carl Jr. is taking that one even despite, yeah, that's a little bit of a wonky approach into the part, but it is Carl Jr. winning the second round. And with that, he's only 2 points away, Marius, of getting himself into the victory booth.
Yeah, he's very close now, very close, and we see how difficult. I mean, Pack had to risk it, yeah. This is one of these corners where you want to get as much exit speed as possible. Pack is always jumping so close to the signs, they want the lowest possible jump, but we see Pack is taking so many risks and still Carl Jr. goes into the lead. And this is the reason why Carl Jr. is just overall winning here currently. Of course, still a 2-1 situation yet. But I mean, this one round loss was just by 100 for Carl Jr. He is so strong. We didn't see a single mistake yet on this track by him. And he drives this pace every single round. And Pack just had to go for the risk previous round. And yeah, it didn't work out. But there is just no other way to beat Carl Jr. It has to be full risk on this map at least. And yeah, this time Carl Jr. is similar to last lap. 1600s in front. So around 15 to 20 hundreds going into the identity. Last lap it was 2500s after the identity, after the first part here. Now we have a lead of 22. And it was 20 hundreds after this part. I think now it's more. It is 22. Okay. And Pack crashes. Oh.
Pack with the nose slides. Pack with the nose slide, and this is really not good for him. It is Carl Jr. winning this round yet again. He's now 3 checkpoints. Like Pack even with the DNF, and now it's Carl Jr. with the match point. Carl Jr. with the match point. And imagine if Carl Jr. didn't win the third map. It would be so good for Pack here. Man, that's devastating to see. And it's really a hard contender here to beat Carl Jr. But Pack is still standing a chance. And you named it. Pack is just driving so risky on this track. Like Carl Jr. just really doing his thing. He didn't do a mistake here thus far. And Carl Jr. can win Trackmania Grand League playoff season 3 again. So let us take a look here. Is he going to make it or not? As we see Pack still leading, but with a mistake, and this could already be the GG here. Pack with a penalty and no speed, but he's still 0.5 away here. But Pack again also not with the best line there. So this is not good. Did I say Pack Jr.? I don't think so. Did I say Pack Jr., right?
I'm not sure.
Of course I mean Carl Jr. But who's Pack Jr.? But yeah.
Is it Hand? Yeah, I mean, the thing is Pack is full risking, but still Carl Jr. is faster. And that is why Pack at some point has to risk it too much and makes the mistake. But yeah, at least he caught up a little bit this time around. Anyway, still over 3/10 of the lead, and it is just so difficult to catch this up. I mean, his mistake, Carl Jr. is definitely not on a very fast round, because after that mistake, Pack should be further behind. But maybe Carl Jr. already starts to control his lead a little bit. And yeah, still 4/10, but very good exit speed here for Pack. He comes closer. Okay, this is the chance. Pack, you have to get it now. Pack, Carl Jr. is a little bit off the line here. He has lost a bit of momentum in this round, in this lap. And now it's only 1/10. And Pack, this is his last chance, of course. If Carl Jr. wins this round, he is the champion. This final will be over then. But good line for Carl Jr. here. Stays in the lead.
Low jump and 3. That's
and this is it. Congratulations to Carl Jr. He really deserved it. Of course, this last map Pack should have won it, but it was a very clear thing in the end, 4-1. And Carl Jr. definitely deserves this victory. He played outstandingly consistent and was never in danger of getting knocked out in any of the other phases. GG, but well deserved second place as well for Pack. He played so good over this whole season, got a lot of prize money, a lot of map wins, but Carl Jr. is just such a hard nut to crack in every format. I mean, this format is completely different to what we have with the steps. But yeah, winning it again, staying champion.
Well, what a week for Carl Jr. Winning Trackmania
Yeah.
Grand League, qualifying to the Gamers Assembly final. And this just shows that Carl Jr. is maybe the greatest player of all time, next to Peck, if you ask me. Both of them are in the final. They had a really good final, but Carl Jr., just by my perception, had the better mental game. He had the better mental game, and that's why Carl Jr. won. It was just around, this was the map for Carl Jr. It was undisputed that Carl Jr. is going to win it. Peck stood a chance. He won a round, but wow, man, that was a great final, I have to say. But I don't know, man. It feels weird.
Carl Jr. just got into his momentum, and when you have Carl Jr. in his momentum, it is basically not possible anymore to beat him.
Yeah, you don't want to play against him then. That's true. That is absolutely true. So yeah, I mean, this concludes it here, Marius. I mean, it's just surprising to see Muda and also Scrappy in that third and fourth position. That is really good. But yeah, also this final. I was seeing that one coming. We both were seeing that one coming. But also, it started with Pack not playing that good in the final four, I have to say. Carl Jr. was so strong there, and Pack was a little bit stumbling, you know? That was the think-wise that I have. But yeah, it was Pack not taking it. And Marius, are you still here, or? I think Marius' Discord died again. But I think Pack is happy about that second position. I mean, with that he wins 2,000 euro. And Carl Jr. is getting 4,000, so that adds up, I think, to almost 5,000 euro to the prize pool, which is quite a lot if you ask me. So Pack, a good season for him, 5,000 euro, definitely not too bad. And yeah, so very cool to see that. Marius?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm here again, I assume.
Yeah, you're here again.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's as you said, it started with the final four. In the final 9 and final 6, Pack was so strong. Like, he was still maybe not thinking so much about it. He was not feeling that pressure so hard. But then starting with the final 4, he didn't play that good anymore. Not that confident anymore. Because if you remember the final 9 or final 6, he won the rounds directly, but he had much more opponents. Way more opponents. And then he won it. And now in the end, he only had in the final 4 3 opponents to beat. Yeah. And he stumbled with that. And then in the final 2, he only has one single opponent on his best map, Slalom. And he stumbles with that. And in the final 9, he directly did it, or final 6. And that is how, yeah, the difference. Yeah, he started to lose a bit his performance. While Carl Jr. actually got, I mean, he kept his performance. He was already strong in the beginning. Yeah. And he just kept it.
Exactly. He just kept it. And someone is saying in the chat, I think that Pack is not happy with that. Why? I mean, why shouldn't he be happy with the second position? Because Carl Jr. just played so good. He was unbeatable on that fourth map. And also just had a little bit more luck. And I think actually that Pack is quite happy with that second position, just by knowing him, because he knows when, of course, with Slalom, that he didn't win there, of course, but still, you know, he lost against Carl Jr. He didn't lose against anyone else. He made it to the final and was already starting there, so he can be happy that he, was making to the final, and of course then win a map. And I mean, if he won the map too, this would have changed so many things.
Definitely, yeah. He was super close there to make that happen. But yeah, do we get an interview from him, or?
I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. Let me do a call here. I'm not sure if Peck is accepting or not. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but would be cool to have an interview with Peck. But I can also understand it because, of course, even though you're happy, you miss out on the shot of getting 4,000 euro, right? And that's a lot of money. That's definitely a lot of money. Okay, so Peck didn't accept.
And Carl Jr. will now even get a bigger lead here. Carl Jr. will even get a bigger lead now in the ranking of most earnings from Trackmania.
Oh, okay. That's
I
crazy.
saw the video lately where he's already in first ahead of Frostbeer.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, it's definitely deserved, and that just shows that Carl Jr. is the best of all time. And then I think on the same level we have Peck. I mean, they're both really, really, really good, and you could have seen the gap of them. That Carl Jr. and Peck are just the best players out there. Well, Marius, but without further ado, I just want to say thank you again for MnM Gaming for giving us the opportunity to cast here on this channel.
I'm also very grateful for this opportunity.
It was very good, and also hopefully gonna see ourselves in season 4 again in fall 2021, or maybe for the Trackmania the Trackmania World Cup, however it's called, the World Championship, whatever. But I think Peck doesn't want an interview, so alright, so maybe I'm not sure. How would you feel losing against Carl Jr. in this fashion, Marius? I mean, you lost your probably best map, but how would you feel about that?
Yeah, very close. I mean, he probably thought already that it might end up in this final too. So probably he thought already that he maybe thought he will reach that anyway, kind of, yeah. And then this is like the deciding match if he's happy or not. Could be. The other players would be already happy by reaching final 2. He maybe thought, I should reach that. And then this is the match that decides how he feels, and he did not win it now.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he knows Carl Jr. played it very good. And you can lose against such a performance. It can happen, yeah.
Exactly, and I think even a second position is not that bad. But hey, without further ado, I will just end the stream. So thank you all for watching, and I hope that you will be here in the next season as well. We had a good amount of viewers today, so thank you so much for that, guys. I'm of course Luckers Turbo, and we have Marius89TM on Twitch. So you can leave us a follow if you want to, and yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and there was 4 hours of intense casting. Also thanks for Marius for joining in, or 3.5, whatever, 3 hours. But it was a good match, and goodbye everyone.
Goodbye.